and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Matt Muzzer.
Hello.
James Farley in the house.
Hello.
There's no Sean again. He's ill. He's ill again, apparently. So instead, we welcome back with open arms Tamoor Hussain from Gamespot.
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
You good?
I am good, yeah. I'm having a great time.
All excited this week to hear your name. You got your name dropped on Giant Bomb, which is almost the second biggest podcast, gaming podcast. So that's, I mean,
I've not actually listened to that podcast yet, so that's a surprise to me. I'm excited to listen to it. I am very much in need of having my ego stroked, having had my body stroked by an entire vehicle.
I only managed about halfway through it, to be quite honest, but you did get mentioned twice, so that was quite exciting for us. Because technically, the streams have crossed now. Technically, we're part of Giant Bomb, so after that, cash money.
Distant cousins now.
How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
As you know,
excited to be here.
Is it?
Mainly because I've got a bone to pick.
Go on.
David Turner's. This impression of me you did last week. I was just, this morning, I was just listening to a podcast and, listen to you guys talk about Red Dead, and then suddenly David just pipes up. He's like, "Yo, I was listening to some fucking shit YouTube video where some dickhead was talking about 10 million things he needs to know about Red Dead Redemption before playing." And I was like, wow.
Right, okay,
this guy sounds like
a
proper bellend. And then he was like, "And it was Tamoor." And I was like, what?
That is not what happened, right? That is not what happened last week. Because you texted me about it instantly and said, "Oh yeah, I like the impression you did of me." I was like, "Oh fuck, what have I done? I don't even remember." I went back and listened to it, and I was just talking about those videos in general, and then I went on to one, and it was Tamoor talking. I was like, I ain't listening to him, which I stand by that comment, right? But it was,
wow.
No, it was really weird, because that's obviously, I've seen you do, E3 stuff, I've seen you do video stuff and all that, right? And that hasn't been weird for me, but for some reason, when I was just scrolling down these videos on my recommendations, and I saw, I think it was 21 things that I wish I knew about Red Dead before I started, or something like that, and I clicked on it, and it was you talking. It was weird. I don't know why. I said it was like watching the X Factor and seeing you in the audience or something. Where I turned to Joe and go, "It's Tamoor, what the fuck?" But why would I be surprised by that? Because it was a GameSpot video. It was just bizarre. Yeah. It freaked me out a little bit, and it clearly was playing on my mind. No, I could do a wicked impression of you, but I didn't do it last week.
The funny thing was about 15 minutes later, you were being an absolute knobhead, being like, "Oh, did you know there's so many things in Red Dead that it doesn't tell you that I wish it would tell you."
25 things here that I've written down.
If you aim your gun up into the air and press up, it shoots. You should have watched the video, mate. It's like tip number 4.
Where do you think I got that from? I literally got it from your video. Did you do the double tap L1 thing? Did you mention that?
Double tap L1 to do the
put your gun away.
Yeah, spin your gun.
You mentioned it.
Yeah, I didn't mention that in my video, but I know that someone else mentioned it in a GameSpot video.
Yeah, someone mentioned it on the Discord. I think it was Oodles. Did you know this, Matt?
Yeah, I think they mentioned it on a Giant Bomb podcast. I've watched a few of those videos anyway. They're all going around, aren't they?
Yeah, no, it's crazy though. Yeah. Also, I'm loving the hot takes of people. I mean, if you don't like the game, you don't like the game, and you've got every right not to like the game and complain about it. That's fine. But some of the stuff people are complaining about. Did you read that thing on Kotaku? It was like, "I'm angry because it's not a real world. It's all based around the player." That's the fucking point. I don't think you could get angry at a game for not being real life. I don't think that's a possibility. But there you go. All right. Right, fine. Well, there's your feedback from last week's show. What did the listeners think, Matt? They all loved it, did they?
Oh, yeah. I mean, most of them, huge fans. I'm going to start with Athene Allen. Last week we talked about the possible N64 classic. And she said, "Shout out to Matt for saying the correct title for Snowboard Kids, then correcting himself to say Snowbow Kids." Now,
what was that all about?
In my mind...
You didn't... What? Surely you didn't think that was really the name?
Well, no, that's what I remember the name being, because I said Snowball. I was like, no, of course it's Snowbow. And I wasn't sure, okay, maybe it's called something different in Europe, or, whatever happened. I've always thought it was called Snowbow Kids. I don't quite know why. And
it would never be called that, Matt. It would never be called that.
But I mean, we can't say that. We didn't question him, James. We should have questioned him, surely.
Yeah, I just thought it's Snowbow Kids on N64. I don't know where that came from, but now we know it's officially called Snowboard Kids. What silly name.
Right. Cool. Well, it's a better name than Snowbow Kids, Matt. That means nothing.
What the
I know, doesn't matter.
What a silly name. Snowbow Kids is way better.
Snowbow is a class name. It's not Snowbow Kids. Oh, actually, we're going to make Grant. I guarantee he also thinks it's called Snowbow Kids, but we haven't got time for that.
I don't want to know about what your mate Grant thinks, to be honest with you.
Who the fuck is Grant?
Grant.
Exactly, like he's some sort of... He will verify this. My mate Grant.
Who I haven't spoken to in like 15 years.
He works for Nintendo.
Something like you went to ECTS with, Matt?
No, that was Matt Morley. It wasn't.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Matt Morley and Matt Murray.
I did contact Matt, by the way, to say, do you remember that time we went to ECTS? Have you got a picture? And he said he'll try and find it because I lost all my pictures. That would be if I can get that picture of us two in suits.
No, mate, you want to ask Grant for that?
Grant might have a picture. Actually, good point. Actually, unlikely. You never will.
That sounds like he's definitely fobbing you off there, Matt.
Last week, James talked about how much he loved hearing people getting tased to death in Siphon Filter, and turns out James isn't the only one.
Yep, I'm with you, James.
Yeah, oh my god! So this must clearly be a thing because everyone's like basically Pissed and Twisted said got more nostalgia vibes from James fondly reminiscing about tasering men to death than all of the PS Classic news combined. And we had at least 5 or 6 other tweets saying that was a highlight of their childhood. They loved doing it, and it wasn't just James being a sicko.
I just want to say, like, when I give my support to James, it's just like on a factual level. Like, you could do that. The fact that you repeatedly did it makes you a fucking wrong. And it is like harrowing to watch these people just like screaming and shaking as they catch fire.
Triangles.
They're all like just polygons. It's just like a big lump of polygons screaming. It's funny.
Yeah, but like most serial killers, what's there and what they imagine is very, very different. Exactly. So in his mind, James is probably like just imagining a real person catching fire in front of him going,
and his line would be, it's just a big lump of polygons. No, that's a real person, James. Oh, it's just a big lump of polygons.
I told you it's not as good as the screams from Rainbow Six. They were even better. You know, as I said,
it's like when, you know, in a horror movie when a kid shows the teacher their picture and it's like this really shit drawing, but the drawings of the entire family's been decapitated. Like the teacher's still like, what the fuck is that? Like, it doesn't matter that it's just a crude shit drawing. It's still worrying.
Like the start of Beyond Two Souls.
Like, didn't you ever get like the comedy like out of screams, like, and how sometimes screams just sound the funniest things? You never got that.
That gets worse.
No. It's like, I mean, no, it's even better. I mean, one of the best films ever for that is Home Alone. That has got some absolutely quality screams. A friend and I, we used to watch that.
That's enough, James. You're really, honestly, you're not doing yourselves any favours here, mate.
You know what was really
I like
funny,
it
guys?
when the kid is at home alone and he's screaming.
No, not the kid, it's the burglars when they're getting tortured and stuff. It's
of course.
Okay.
The Sticky and the Wet Bandit screams are pretty good.
James, I referenced Detroit Beyond Two. Beyond. Why do I keep calling it Detroit Become Human earlier? And you know the bits where you find those drawings from the kid, and they're just ridiculous.
Yeah.
When you think about the twist, I mean, it makes it even weirder, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
No, because she
we'll talk about this in the Game of the Year show, but it's...
What, are you bringing it in?
Yeah, we will. Save it for the Game of the Year show, Matt.
It's alright, Matt's just going to be like, no, well, I liked it, so that makes it fine.
Well, and if that takes on one of your games, then brilliant. Okay, so also last week we had once again another chat about bloody Shenmue versus Yakuza, and turns out people agree with David. Matthew Mora, I agree 100% with David about the Shenmue/Yakuza comparison issues. Absolutely love Shenmue, played both Shenmue 1 and 2 on Dreamcast. Tried Yakuza twice, but couldn't get into it. Dave, I'm sure you'll love Shenmue too. This other guy... I don't think I had it, but basically some guy said, I played 50 hours of Yakuza, couldn't really get into it, I wasn't a fan. 50 hours!
Yeah, but there was also another guy that you're obviously conveniently leaving out, who was saying that he could completely agree with me about the combat system, and how David had it all wrong, but obviously you've missed that out, because it doesn't fit your narrative.
Maybe it's the one about 50 hours, but anyway, regardless, I don't want to talk about Yakuza anymore, but... yeah, Peel agree with you, Dave.
There you go. Great game, great series.
Also, last week, James once again offended another game developer. This time it's a real one. Wes Foster. Hey, James, I worked on those Barbie games that nobody cares about. They will make fine additions to the PS1 Classic. And this guy actually did work on the Barbie games.
See, this is the thing, right? I don't remember mentioning Barbie games. Did I say something about them?
Yes, you did, yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Did I? Okay. I don't remember that.
Tim Wilson also tweets in, I also worked on a Barbie game too. It was as if Uncharted had been made by Kerry and Curtin Mucklow, repeatedly playtesting it though, practically wrestled my soul from my body. Even H.P. Lovecraft couldn't have conceived anything of such hellish horror. So that's two people who worked on the game.
One of them's agreeing with me though that it wasn't great.
Okay, but do you want to apologise to Wes Foster?
Yeah, I'll make an apology now because I don't want to get confronted on stage again.
A full and frank apology.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry about that. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah.
We also talked about Games Magazine a few weeks ago, and basically they're glad to hear. Once again, more people mentioning Total Magazine. Don't even remember, but Paul Shin said he loved that. He loved Total Magazine, and he feels it always gets overlooked in favour of the admittedly very good Superplay. There you go.
What were your favourite magazines growing up, Tamoor?
So I was a CVG guy.
Oh yeah, big style.
PSM3, official PlayStation, Games Master, PC Zone.
See, I never got into Games Master. It feels like was the magazine any good then?
Yeah, magazine was pretty
Games
good.
Master.
Yeah, it was great back in the day.
It was pretty good. Yeah.
I never really picked up on that for some reason. But there you go.
Right. PC Zone as well. I mean, I guess I was more of a PC gamer when I was like 15, 16. But yeah, PC Zone I absolutely loved as well. That was a great magazine. Absolutely brilliant.
I don't have a super, I'm not mad attached to magazines in the same way that other people are. Like, I had an incredible thirst for just reading about games, so I'd buy any magazine, really. I wasn't loyal to any.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So, like, maybe CVG is the closest that it came to. Like, that was the one that I kind of, like, wrote reviews and sent them in randomly, like...
Did you ever get a response?
Oh, yeah, they published me.
Oh,
a
really?
bunch of times.
Yeah. Sweet.
I got stuff in Games
Master. And they
Master.
didn't pay me, so...
It's embarrassing.
What was that, Matt? What was that, James?
I got stuff in Games Master, and yeah, I used to write to magazines on a regular basis, which is very embarrassing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
We need to find them.
What magazines?
Yeah.
Yes, we do. What magazines?
Well, no, he just said Games
magazines?
Master. Okay, so what age were you, James? Come on, we've got to find out.
I'm not telling you, because you're going to have to go through hundreds and hundreds of magazines.
Games Master.
No.
Let's assume, 15 years ago?
Listen.
Well, hold on. What Tamoor's got to say? What?
Listen. If you find someone that works at Future Still, they have a library of every games mag they've produced for quite a few years back, because they have a database of it. I used to go through it all the time. So if you can find someone that works there still, I'm sure you know someone in the industry that is still there, they can very easily go into studio and grab you a specific magazine that you want.
We need to offer a prize. The first person to find one of James's, we got to offer a prize. We'll think of a prize, we'll think of that, but the first person to find one of James' letters in either Games Master or any other gaming mag and sends it in like a screenshot, it's legit, then we got to sort them out a prize, because this is too good. This is too good. Oh, James, this is too good. What were you writing in about?
Well, I used to write into Nintendo, into Total quite frequently, but I didn't get published that many times, but a couple of times in like letters and stuff, but you know.
Right, come on.
Shitting on Barbie games.
We've got to find one. We've got to find one. All right, go on.
Last bit of feedback. James McCall. Hi, guys. I really enjoy watching Matt and James play Portal 2, but they're quite bad at it. On the last stream, Matt repeatedly asked, what can I do up high that I can't be done on the ground? The answer is obviously falling. He even said it while looking through high up Portal, which looked down at the ground. A huge part of Portal 2 is the introduction of falling, using momentum, and those catapult switches obviously meant it wasn't super memorable to you guys. It was nearly as painful as watching the first stream when Matt asked, how do I pass this cube through to you, while looking directly through an open gap, which 5 minutes later he later used to pass the cube through. Best of luck in future Portal 2 streams. I'll be watching and screaming at my television. I mean, it's
so I watched some of it this week, and oh my god, they are not wrong. It's fucking hilarious. Like watching you two try and work through that game is just the funniest thing. The bit where you were trying to create a platform for James to land on, and it must have taken you about half an hour just to do that one bit. It was hilarious.
We're so bad at it, and I'm like, this can't be entertaining or for anyone. I mean, we were getting frustrated, and we were playing it, so I can't imagine what it's going to be like watching that. I mean, I don't know.
It was pretty shocking when I logged on. I literally just logged on to Twitch to see how you guys were doing, and the first thing I heard was you going, "Okay, right, everyone. On Wednesday it's David's birthday, but it's also James's birthday. But don't say happy birthday to David. Don't send him any messages. Don't say happy birthday to David. Just say happy birthday to James." It was really fucking weird. What was that about?
Well, just because I can't remember how we got onto the subject, but we're talking about James. Maybe it's about James's age. Anyway, it's a massive conversation, and then I was like, "It's your birthday. It's the same as Dave's." And he's like, "Yeah, it's fine, but no one really wishes me happy birthday." They're all like, "Oh, it's Dave's birthday. Oh, and James's." So I was like, "Well, this year, guys, like, let's wish James a happy birthday," and that was it, really. Yeah, it's just terribly bad
James,
timing.
why do you get upset by that?
No, I don't get upset by it. It's just, there's always like, because usually what happens is you get like a flood of like messages from loads of people, all like, "Oh, you are great," and all that. And then you're like, "Oh, it's James' birthday as well." And everyone's like, "Oh, really? That's weird." And then that's it.
Yeah, but James, right? I ain't being funny because I looked it up. And David De Gea, the goalkeeper, it's also his birthday on November the 7th. Right?
Really?
And he must get absolutely bombarded with happy birthday messages. Do you get angry at him for that?
No, it's a bit different, isn't it? He's a world-class goalkeeper.
He's more famous than you are. He's more well-known and respected than you are. So he gets a lot more of attention on his birthday. I'm more famous and more respected than you. Deal with it.
I mean,
is what I'm saying.
I bet a lot of people are tweeting David De Gea and say, "Oh, it's also David Turner's birthday." He's like, "That's weird, isn't it?"
And he goes, "Oh, that's a bit weird, isn't it?" Good point. Right.
That's even feedback. We'll try and get better at Portal 2. We're going to stream again this Thursday, by the way, at 9 o'clock. So get involved in that one. So that's it for feedback. It's at Computer Game Pod on Twitter, or you can email your feedback to thecomputergameshow@gmail.com.
Now, the pressure this week, reading out the news in front of Gamespot. What's your official title, Tamoor?
I am the global head of news.
The global head of news.
Just to spoil
and
a bit.
the UK editor.
And the UK editor.
Just to spoil a bit. Before we recorded, Matt suggested a news story. James said, "No, I'm not reading that one." And Tamoor went, "It's the biggest news story of the week, James."
Just to be clear, like, we're talking about the Diablo story, and one of the other stories on this list is the Switch outsold the game.
I know, exactly. And James is like, "I'm not reading a map because it's not important enough."
Here's a question, right? So you've got staff, like new staff, right, Tamoor?
Mm-hmm.
So if James worked for GameSpot and he come at you with this, like, what would you, how would you approach this subject? Would you take him aside and say, "Look, James, no one gives a fuck about this news, mate. Get on the diet." What would you say?
I only have the best working for me, so James should not be in that situation.
Can we get James to work there for a day just to see what a real news team looks like? And he's like,
absolutely not.
Look, Mr. Tamoor, sir, I've created the great stories. The share price of Nintendo's gone up. That's huge.
Well, Eurogamer thought it was pretty important because they did a story about it.
Can we not mention him on the... Oh, no, that's fine.
Right, go on, Jen, let's do it. Let's do it. Here's the news.
Are we done with slagging me off? Can
Here's
I
the news.
Yeah. No,
we've got another 2 hours probably.
This is the news. Red Dead Redemption 2's HDR mode is pointless. This is the.
This made me so happy.
Well, I've been dreading reading this one because I don't want to read because the detail of it is ridiculous, and I don't want to read it all out. It's insane. It's really.
Well, basically, what it means is that the lighting in the way the lighting's. I'm not a technical guy. The way the lighting's shown on the TV. Yeah, it means that it was basically made for standard dynamic range, right? Yep. And not high dynamic range. So, when it goes into HDR mode, it isn't actually reading the right data, and it makes it look washed out. It makes it doesn't look as good. Correct?
That's right. Yeah.
So I was just
I will say the HDR when you're in a town at night is fucking tremendous.
Oh, that's interesting, Sean. That's very interesting. Sean, what do you think of the HDR in Red Dead that doesn't exist?
I will say the HDR when you're in a town at night is fucking tremendous.
Oh, right. Oh, God. Well, at least I'm getting to play it in 4K. I'm getting to play it 4K, aren't I? So that's good.
Yeah, and you're not doing HDR, so you're not seeing the whole thing either.
Oh, I think I am seeing the whole thing, James. I think I am seeing the whole thing. So what you got to say for yourself?
Fucking hell, the level of preparation that has gone into this is...
You don't fuck about.
When things like this happen, Tamoor, you've got to prepare. You've got to seize the moment.
Wronged.
Yeah, and you're not doing HDR, so you're not seeing the whole thing either.
James, go on. Well, okay, so I'm not seeing HDR.
Obviously, I messed up, with that. But Sean, why I'm not taking the brunt of this because Sean was the one that said more than I did about it. It's ridiculous.
I don't remember what Sean said. What did Sean even say?
He said,
I will say the HDR when you're in a town at night is fucking tremendous.
Oh, Sean, you don't know what HDR means, mate. You can never, ever, ever talk about HDR again. We've literally got you saying on the podcast that the HDR in a game that doesn't exist looks fucking tremendous. It doesn't exist. And this is just too good. It's too good. What a mug. All that money that he spent on the telly and he can't tell the fucking difference. Oh, beautiful. I like the fact that, Matt, you stayed quite quiet during that whole HDR
Yeah, I could tell it wasn't in real HDR, so...
let you say that now. Look at him, smug. There's nothing better than going onto a forum, finding, and I've done this a lot this week, right, after that article come out, I went onto a lot of forums, found the posts on Red Dead Redemption 2, and searched in that thread HDR before that date, and watching the amount of people saying, wow, this really justifies my purchase, and all that sort of stuff. We're all fucking idiots, aren't we? We don't know what we're talking about. A company says there's this new thing, and no one knows what it is. Classic. Brilliant.
It's weird that they don't. I mean, have they? They've said this week, haven't they? They're going to do a patch and go look into it. I think.
Are they?
James, well, according to this, Eurogamer said that they haven't responded to this. So
yeah, I don't think they have.
Oh, okay, I thought someone told me, but
Matt's just hopeful.
Don't fucking make news up.
Hang on, I'm going to find this.
Matt always makes news up.
Tamoor's already put that on the Gamespot website based on that. Sorry, what were you going to say, Tamoor? You've been playing.
I was going to say I played that game, like 95% of it with HDR on, and my biggest regret is I didn't turn it off earlier.
Well, that's it, isn't it? A lot of people have been saying, actually, and to be fair, one of the main ones, the first one that I went to and searched that HDR thing was on Rollmuck, and I must say the majority of the posts were saying there's something wrong with HDR, it looks all fucked up, and a lot of people were saying when you turn it off, the game just looks way more detailed, way better looking. So
it looks it looks nice with the HDR on. Like, it looked really, really cool. I felt like it gave it a unique kind of, like, style to it, like this muted color palette. And, like, I will say, like, the HDR in a town at night looks fucking tremendous. But when it's only later on that I was like, what happens if I turn it off? And the difference is quite stark. It looks way more vibrant. So, like, the mood is completely different. Yeah, like, it looks a bit washed out in the original, like, style, but it also looks kind of more realistic in a lot of ways. And then when you turn it off, it looks like a video game again. And that's kind of like the difference I had. But when I did turn it off, I was like, there's so much nice, like, vegetation and stuff like that I was missing out on for so long. So I kind of regretted not turning it off earlier, but I won't say like with HDR on, it's awful. It still looks beautiful.
Yeah, no, oh god, yeah, I'm not suggesting that the game suddenly looks like total shit, but it's just funny when people are assuming certain things about
and you're not doing HDR, so you're not seeing the whole thing either.
I mean, and when they're assuming that I'm not seeing the whole thing either, and I actually am, that's if
anything, you've seen it better than we have, so.
Yeah, I've seen it better because of the Xbox One X, because the power of the Xbox One X, James. Anyway, you done with that story, or do you want to go into the details about how ridiculously wrong you were last week?
No, because it's really boring, and I don't.
Dave, let's move on. We've got a huge news story next, and I wouldn't really want to waste any time.
Okay, let's settle in. Let's hear this.
All right, so the Switch has now outsold the GameCube.
Okay, that's good. That was going to be obvious next news story. What do we say about that? What do we say? The Switch has been a massive success, and it's only going to get bigger.
Well, no, because because you can compare it with other Nintendo machines, and look at how maybe it's been a success, but it's still got a long way to go. Match up
so how do you reckon it's done compared to, say, the GameCube?
It's sold 22 million, and the GameCube ended on 21, so it's sold 1 million more than that so far.
So when you say it's interesting, you're saying it's interesting.
Man's not hard.
It's interesting it's sold more than the GameCube, but you're saying it hasn't sold as much as, say, the Wii. Is that
no?
Okay, that is interesting.
Yeah, I thought you'd find. I thought you'd find it interesting. It's
right. Next news story. Jesus Christ.
Okay, so the other one is one that
Tamoor, what did GameSpot have to say about this revelation that the Switch has outsold the GameCube?
Nothing.
I assume you've been working all hours of the day to do videos on this.
Clearly GameSpot haven't got their finger on the pulse.
Yeah,
stop the presses.
100 hour weeks now because the Switch has sold some units.
Sitting up all night writing about it. Well, how did it do to the Game Boy? Don't worry about that. Focus on the GameCube for now.
It hasn't sold as much as the Wii.
God. Next news story, James.
Well, I'm skipping over this one that Matt's put in because it's rubbish. I mean, it's got Overwatch's Next Hero. I mean, who cares? I'm not reading that.
Tamoor cares. He's well up for it.
Right. His biggest fan.
I've been told that my Overwatch chat is getting annoying now. So
by who?
I'm toning it down for everyone, but just everyone.
Just by everyone.
Just everyone's had enough email chain. So,
I mean, Matt,
are you really? You're still hammering that game?
Yeah.
All right. Well, good for you. Okay. Right. Let's go to the next story then.
So the next one I'm going to include because I've been persuaded to, which was
you
about
mean by the global head of news for GameSpot. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No, don't blame me for this. It's like
no. I mean, it's my story. I mean, I put it in.
Well, no, because so Blizzard was it BlizzCon they had?
Yes.
This happened, right? So at BlizzCon they announced a new Diablo game, and everyone was obviously very excited about this because everyone's wanted a new Diablo for ages. And then they announced it, and it was a bit like with Command & Conquer because it turns out it's a mobile game, and it didn't go down very well with the crowd.
I've got a couple of questions about this. I don't know if you know Tamoor, but did they tease an announcement for a new Diablo game? Is that what happened?
So in the lead up, they discussed
it was the opposite, wasn't it?
Diablo. They were teasing. There was build up towards a Diablo project, and one of them was eventually they came out and they effectively, one of them was the Switch one, which they did that thing where it was the Diablo little glow thing that they plugged into a Switch and then turned it on. And they were like, nah, it's not the Switch version. We're just having some fun. We're not that clever. And then they released the Switch version. And then there was kind of momentum towards a new Diablo game. And they came out and said, listen, we are making new Diablo stuff. There's multiple new Diablo projects on the way. We're not going to announce a brand new... I think they outright said, we're not going to announce a major Diablo 4 thing at BlizzCon, but we will have some Diablo-related announcements. And then this is what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they made it clear...
They've already tried to calm people down because it was getting fever pitch. Look, just to tell you now, the game you may hoping for is not going to happen, but as Tamoor said, there's going to be plenty of other projects being announced.
It wasn't fever pitch. Come on, there's just a couple of people booing and some snarky comments.
No, it's not. It's very much not. It's become a bit of a thing online now. I mean, you could say in the grander scheme of things, it's a vocal minority being very, very vocal and being shitty about it, but it is it's become the talking point of games right now because obviously they had that thing where a guy during their stream of BlizzCon stood up and was being super shitty to a developer, which is a bad look. But since then, the forums are on fire with people complaining about Diablo. People are tweeting at Trump trying to get him involved, and it's like people are being mad on the internet, obviously. But it is to say it's a couple of people is perhaps like minimalizing an issue that not an issue, but like a discussion topic that is raging.
I will say, right, a lot of people were like going mental about that guy that asked that question at
it was shocking.
You know, what did he say? So, is this a joke?
Yeah, he said, "Is this an out of season April Fool's joke?" And everyone was cheering and stuff.
I just thought, oh, what a fucking bellend! Like that.
He's trying to be king of the nerds, isn't he? That's what he was thinking.
Oh God, yeah, and he succeeded. You don't want to be king of the nerds. That made me cringe. Why you were there for a week when it
was a good week.
Yeah, I mean that. Like, I am a nerd. I'm not gonna distance myself from that. But I looked at it and I just thought, oh my God, you're the worst type of person. Like, honestly, what? It's just, pathetic. But I don't know.
The weird thing is, like, the people who have a gripe with that, they are like, I can understand elements of the argument, but the problem is that the people who are being reasonable and trying to explain why they're disappointed in the way it went down are being completely drowned out by people just being extra shitty.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? It's always the way. Like, if there's an original point to be made and saying, look, maybe you shouldn't play on the fact that some people do care about this more than perhaps is healthy, right? And I'm not having a pop, because if they announced a new Titanfall game and it ended up being a mobile game, I'd be pretty pissed too. But, you know, there's always fucking bellends and they're always going to be louder.
I guess, like, from my perspective, as a Blizzard fan, like, it is, if I'm trying to put myself into the shoes of people who are upset by it, it's the fact that the thing that would trouble me, like, and I'm not saying to the point where I'd go on the internet and be a knobhead about it, but, like, you go to BlizzCon, it's a celebration of Blizzard and all their games and their developers and that kind of stuff, and they're announcing something new, but the new thing they're announcing is a game based on a franchise that everyone loves, developed by a third party. That's initially like a weird thing, right? Like, and then it's for a platform that traditionally they don't support. And it just looks weird, and the timing of it, like the optics of it, are really weird. It comes at the same time as like Mike Morhaime, the kind of like co-founder and the guy who's been running that company in a big way, is leaving, and someone else is taking over, J. Allen Brack, which means, like, at the same time as new leadership coming in, you're now announcing that you've got one of your biggest franchises. It's coming to a platform like mobile, which mobile gaming is great and it's fine, but like that crowd doesn't really like it all that much, and at the same time the development is being outsourced to an outside company. It's just a really, also, from the optics side of it, it looks rough.
I think we can all understand the idea of someone like really liking the leadership of someone and then having to move on for a little bit, and then new leadership coming in and taking over and completely ruining everything.
I don't know what you're talking about, Dave.
Nor do I. James?
Isn't this also, there's annoyance because is it NetEase that are like producing this, and there was the whole thing about how it's very similar to other projects that they've already done, which were kind of Diablo rip-offs, that they've already released.
Yeah, so I guess that's another big part of it is it does, like, a lot of people are saying it's a reskinned version of another game that they've done, but like, and that is shitty. But I'm of the mind that, like, Blizzard doesn't attach its name to garbage. Like, it's a company that knows the value of its brands and its properties, and also it respects its players in a big way, and that, for me, at the very least, kind of like earns them a shot. Like, I'm willing to give that game a chance, and I'm hoping that it's good, and I'm excited for it. I love Diablo and I want to play it, so like, and a mobile Diablo sounds pretty good to me.
Here's a question though: if they just announced that with a trailer on YouTube, do you think there would be this much fuss about it?
It's hard to say. I know that them announcing a new Diablo project, just that on its own, was clearly a rough move, and they should have thought about it more, because they've shown, like, a precedent has shown that you need to have something else with it to kind of, have like something else to kind of like soften the blow, like Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo with Animal Crossing.
Not even that, but like when they announce Samus Returns for 3DS, they did that knowing literally everyone wants a proper Metroid game. So they announced Metroid Prime 4, and it was just the logo.
Yeah.
And like the blowback from that was minimal. Like in an alternate universe, Nintendo announces Samus Returns and doesn't say anything about a new Metroid Prime, and they get in shit for it. Similar for like Bethesda, right? When they did Fallout or was it Fallout Shelter?
Yeah.
But like whenever they announce something, like Elder Scrolls Blades, for example, that's a mobile Elder Scrolls game. At the same time, they were like, we've got Starfield coming, and there is a new Elder Scrolls in development. And they showed off some clearly not representative of the game footage of something that looks vaguely Elder Scrolls-ish. And the blowback to Blades was non-existent almost. Like, it wasn't a big deal. So Blizzard should have probably paid attention to that and been like, all right, we want to announce this game. Although we don't have a Diablo 4 to show, they should have at the very least been like, here's a logo, or here's a picture of a devil Diablo thing off in the distance that looks vaguely Diablo-ish. And I think that would have offset it in a big way. And also the other thing is like, it's come out now that Diablo 4 was supposed to be announced at BlizzCon. Kotaku sources, a couple of people are telling them that the plan was to announce Diablo 4, but at the very last moment they had to pull it because of stuff that's happening with the game. I think it might have something to do with the fact that it's changing in a big way, like the style of game, not style of game, but like the way it looks. And you know how developers are, where they show a game, and when they show a game, that version of the game is the one that's cemented in people's minds.
Yeah.
You can't really change it. When you try and change it, people are like, where the fuck is my puddle and Spider-Man? That's the issue they have. So like now more than ever, developers are gun shy about showing games super early, and even stuff like logos and stuff, it's a risk. So I understand why Blizzard might have decided at the last minute, we need to, if this game is going to change, we can't show it right now.
But this is also really bizarre, considering like at E3 you had that whole thing with Command & Conquer as well, which was like really similar. You know, where you have got a fan base there that are eager for there to be more Command & Conquer at some point, and then they released they showed off Rivals, didn't they? And then the reaction was really similar, of, you know, people not really very happy with it. So you'd think that Blizzard would see that and think maybe this isn't a great idea. At least, you know.
Yeah, and as Tamoor says, like if Blizzard have got this reputation of, you know, respecting their fan base, I've got
a question about that though, because it's Activision Blizzard, isn't it? So how much of this is it Activision, who love microtransactions and love all this stuff, and how much of this is Blizzard?
I mean, there's no way we can say. It would be pure speculation to try and talk about how much Activision was involved, but
not necessarily. I mean, you said just that they've, you know, this guy from Blizzard has stood down, and you've got like you've got somebody new.
The guy who's in charge now led the World of Warcraft team for a really, really long time, so he's Blizzard through and through, and he's worked on. But like, we can't outright say, oh, this is Activision getting involved. But what we can say is that like the idea of that speaks to a fear that Blizzard fans have. The fear they have is, and this fear that they've always had since Activision and Blizzard became kind of merged, is there going to be a point where Activision kind of muscles in on Blizzard and starts to change the culture or the way they work and behave and that kind of stuff? And that manifested in multiple ways at BlizzCon. People booed when they talked about Destiny, and that's just a game that's available in the launcher. It's something that anyone in Battle.net doesn't have, no one's being forced to engage with it, but just the presence of it amongst the other Blizzard titles is enough to kind of incense them. So it's a real fear that people have, and a big part of the reaction that people are having towards the new Diablo on mobile is that fear kind of being ignited. So we can't say why, how much Activision is involved, but there's so much potential there as well. Like, Blizzard is a company, like, they make good games. So, like I said, I'm hopeful they'll make good games. And the fact of the matter is, like, maybe this brings Diablo to a whole bunch of new people. Maybe, like, it grows the Diablo audience and makes Diablo 4 a more healthy product in the long run. Or maybe it's just designed for a specific market. Like, China's a huge Diablo and mobile game market, and so there's a lot of other parts of Asia. So maybe it's a matter of like exploring other markets. Yeah. I don't think that it's like just because it's a mobile game, it should be outright written off. And as a fan of Diablo, I'm excited to play more Diablo. That's what it all comes down to.
I get that. It's just
Go on, James.
No, so I get that. It's just that I can understand like the feeling about it. You know, taking something that you love and then putting it into a mobile game, and how that does often end with a more negative experience. I mean, my big thing with that has always been like Animal Crossing. The pocket version of that is not a great game, and it's not anything like.
No, but how much has that affected you ultimately, though?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you're still, you tried it, you didn't like it, you put it away, and then that's that.
That doesn't bother me. I mean, obviously it doesn't bother me because there is going to be like another one on Switch or whatever, but I think the fear is, and the fear that people have, and I don't think it's an unjustifiable fear, is that, they may just think, okay, we're just going to stick with this, because if it does really well, especially in other territories, then why bother releasing console versions when we can just release these mobile ones that make tons more money?
That's the weird thing. Like, they've already said they're making... they've basically said they're making Diablo 4. It's happening. Like, a big Diablo game is coming. And that's the thing that people who are unreasonably complaining on the internet are distracting from. Like, they don't want people to notice the fact that Blizzard has very clearly said a proper Diablo game is in the works. It's coming. This is a separate thing. There are multiple Diablo projects in the works. But like, to keep that in mind and like to actually acknowledge that means that your complaining just looks like complaining. So they're not doing that. Like, as much as I want to be reasonable about it, most people are just being babies. Fucking grow up.
Yep. Right. Any more stories?
Well, there's the Ubisoft one, because they're removing blood, gambling, and sex references from Rainbow Six Siege.
Right. Okay. So I haven't played it for probably about 3 months now, but I was a massive fan of Rainbow Six Siege, and I saw this on your news list, James. And there's two things. First one, I want to hear this live, so I didn't read the article. The second one, I can't think of... Right, so blood... I mean, that's just blood splatters, right? Yeah, that happens in the game. Yeah. I mean, okay, whatever. That really doesn't bother me. But what was it? Gambling and...
Yeah, they've removed...
You've got to open the story and look at the pictures. Some of them are hilarious.
Where, though? I don't understand.
Okay, so there's one... It's just like... There's one area where there's all, like, slot machines and stuff, so they've just removed the slot machines, so then it's like a blank wall.
That's weird. Okay, I mean... The game's about shooting and killing and stuff. Like, if there's a slot machine in a map, like, okay.
Well, no, because...
What, are they hoping to lower the rating or something?
No, because the reason for this is... Well, okay, the suspected reason for this is because they're trying to comply with laws in other countries, so that then they can sort of do a global release of the game instead. But then Ubisoft has said that's not actually the case, and that they don't have like a global build anyway. But there still is this suspicion that this is to try and sort of like cut back on like costs or whatever and make it so it's more sort of streamlined and easier, to sort of release content. I mean, most of these, the censorship stuff here is all stuff to get past Chinese censors. Like, if you look at it, it's like particularly like removing the gambling, because gambling's technically illegal on the mainland, so they got rid of that. And like the sex content as well, that's gone. And also, and just the blood.
What's the sex content?
Well, no, it's not even that. It's just like there's like neon lights that have like.
Oh my god, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, can you see?
What the pole dancer in the garage in that level. Yeah, I know the one.
Yeah,
my favourite picture of these is the before and after of the gambling. It's like before gambling machines, after just 3 bottles of beer on a wall.
Yeah. What's the witch? The witch has been removed and replaced with...
No, just put a mask on it. They just put a mask over the witch instead. It's a bit odd.
I mean, this is all stuff I couldn't give a shit about. Yeah. It's not like I'm playing Rainbow Six Siege and going, oh no, the fucking slot machines are gone, it's ruined my game. But you're saying people are complaining.
Well, yeah, but because people are complaining because it is the censorship aspect to it, which is, that they're censoring this for other regions.
I guess, but there are bigger battles to fight, aren't there? I mean, I'm not a fan of censorship either. And if there was, there are certain instances where I go, hold on a minute, you can't start fucking around with this now. That stuff, changing a neon light of a lady on a pole to a hand really makes zero difference, does it?
Not the gameplay makes no difference at all. It's just
not to the gameplay, to anything, to the style, to the
to this
it means
news
nothing.
Segment.
This news segment, James. Hey, good one, Matt.
Can you imagine?
It just means nothing.
Can you imagine somewhere there's some kid who's playing Siege that sees that neon sign of a lady's leg and absolutely gets a rock hard boner and is like, oh yeah. Now,
to be fair, that would have been me when I was
about 30. What the fuck are people complaining about, man?
People love a moan.
Grow up.
Fucking love a moan, boy. I love it.
Yeah, right. But there is. See, I don't want to get into this because you're just going to shoot me down. But there are.
Yeah, but no. What I'm saying is that there's censorship, and then there's. I mean, this isn't censorship to me.
Well, no, because there's genuine concerns about. God, man, I sound like a UKIP supporter now. It's like I've got genuine concerns about immigration. I haven't. It's ridiculous.
You sound like one, James, because you. No, right, okay. Go on, let's go. What were you saying?
No, because
there's genuine concerns.
The genuine concern here is that basically you've got particularly China in this case, like exerting its control over like companies like outside of China, and how this will result in companies developing games to like for that market, if you see what I mean. Which means that there will be restrictions on content which there shouldn't be restrictions on.
Yeah, but it depends what the restrictions are, rather. I mean,
well, we know what the restrictions are. They're very obvious, like what the restrictions are, because they.
Yeah, I know, but how it's the effect that I'm worried about. It's what it does to the game that I'm worried about. Like, for example, Rainbow Six Vegas, it was full of like casino levels. If it was a casino level that they completely pulled out of the game, then I'd go, hold on a minute, this ain't right. But putting a mask on a witch's face on a pot is not something that I
agree with you. In this case, this is kind of a nothing. But what I'm talking about is the broader picture here and how this can affect things like going forward in the future.
Yeah, I think from that standpoint, it's a very, very fair argument to make. But there is no fucking dudes on the internet complaining about this, thinking about the implications of China exerting authority on video game design and development because of this in the future. They're just being like, where's the fucking leg I used to see?
Where's the neon lady?
Maybe I'm not giving gamers or fans of Rainbow Six Siege enough credit, but like, whenever I play the game,
do you know
my
what?
fucking teammates shoot me in the arse and then call me a prick. So
if you are legitimately, if you're listening to this and you are angry at this, what's happened to Rainbow Six Siege, then get in touch and tell us why. Because I mean, we want to hear it from your point of view. I don't understand it because I've played countless hours of this game, and I'm looking at these pictures and going, that has zero effect on anything.
James's point about what he said there about China is a very, very fair one, and it's an interesting discussion point to have.
It is. I mean, I suppose I'd be more interested in discussing it if it was having a direct effect on what I was playing, but I don't see this as having a direct effect on what I'm playing at all.
I know,
so I can't.
It's not going to affect gameplay as such, but it's like the overall artistic vision. Like, and I know that sounds ridiculous when you're talking about a game that's like shooting people and stuff, but there is still that aspect of this.
Well, no, it's not that. It's just it's like it's so not affecting the game. Do you know what I mean? It's not changing that. I mean, you'd be hard pushed to justify saying that this is changing the artistic vision. Do you know what I mean? In this particular case,
we've seen it happen in Hollywood, right? Yeah. Where action movies just for some reason, like at some point, every action movie had to have a scene set in China, and that was pretty much why. Like, they were getting a lot of cash out of it, and they were getting funding and that kind of stuff. So from that perspective, I can see how that might be extrapolated into games.
There's been like actual like demonstrable cases of like where films, like ideas from films and stuff, they get shut down, because Hollywood are not going to touch those because of the fact that because of where the funding's coming from, and that's really worrying. Like that side of things. And
all right, well, let's see how this progresses then. See if we'll playing shit games without witches in the near future. Is that it? We done?
Yeah, that's
sexy neon legs.
Well, on the hand, James, you had some other really big news story, James, didn't you?
Like, I don't care about this news story. No one does.
You added this one, but you added it in. Is it big or not?
I'm not. No, look, Matt, just fuck off, okay? Just stop having a go. This has been 40 minutes of just let's have a go at James the whole time, and it's like I don't care. Just
not all of it.
Go on, James. God, James, if I had a bar next to me, like if you could press a menu on me and check my stats, my respect just went up. It just leveled up, brother. Right, okay, let's go to what you've been playing. Should we start with James, or are you still pissy?
Yeah, I mean, I've got very little to talk about because, I mean, I have not gone back to Red Dead Redemption since last week. It's been a whole week I've not bothered playing it, and
okay,
it's weird because it's not because I don't want to play it. It's because I just can't be bothered at the moment. And what I mean by that is, it's like, no, because it's like, you know, you come in from work and like, you know, it's like, I just can't be bothered to sit down. Like by the time I get to the TV, it's like, you know, like after like 10:30 or whatever. And I just think, I know it's going to take me like another hour or whatever to get back into this. And I just haven't got the energy at the moment. So I just ended up not playing it.
Are you out in the mountains yet?
Yeah, I've done all that. Yeah, ages ago. It's, yeah.
Oh man, it's like a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people saying that game is the sort of game that you have to sit and spend hours and hours on, like in one hit. And I don't agree with that at all. Like, I've been loading it up in short bursts and still having a good time. Like, I just know, I was talking to Matt about this, like, offline. It's like this is one of the reasons why I play so many Switch games these days, because it just fits in with life a lot better. Like, especially like if you look at like the weekends, like I never get to play games anymore, like at the weekends, unless I play them on Switch, like with the kids and everything. And by like night, you know, I just feel so tired. I don't want to play anything anyway. And this is why it's just, I don't know, it's just hassle to just play it. So that's why So that's what you've not been playing. Let's get to what you've been playing.
I've been playing Rayman Legends, which is
why?
Because, David, it is fantastic, and it's actually...
I know, mate, but it was fantastic years ago when it came out as well.
I know, but you see, I never played it, because when it came out, I wasn't here. I was, like, living in Shanghai at the time, and then I finally got round to actually playing it on Switch, and it is one of the best platformers I've ever played, like, in, you know, like, 2D ones. It's absolutely superb. I mean, I finished it, like, over the weekend, not with everything, but, yeah, it's just absolutely fantastic. I mean, have you ever played it, though?
Yes, I have. Yeah, briefly. I think I played it. I've definitely played it on Switch, but I think I played the majority of it on Xbox, wasn't it? And I think it was a Games with Gold game.
Yeah, I had Origins. I think was on there, but this is like Legends is pretty much, you know, it's the same thing with, you know, all the content from Origins in it as well. But it's just superb. I was just really shocked and really enjoyed playing it. And the other thing I played is Undertale. Because I kind of felt that I needed to play this because is it Deltarune came out?
Deltarune is the new one that got announced.
Yeah.
And I guess released, one chapter of it got released this week.
And I mean, everyone always talks about Undertale, and it came out on Switch recently, so I bought that because it was only like about £11. And I've only played it for about 2 hours or so. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's old style, sort of RPG style, but with very funny scripting. And,
I really want to play Deltarune, and then you and I think also maybe Sean or someone else said that you've got to play Undertale first. And I know like Giant Bomb totally raved about it I guess last year or maybe the year before for the end of the year shows, and it did sound good, but I just never got around to it. And everyone seems to be raving about Deltarune, so yeah, it feels like I should probably go back to this myself.
Yeah, I don't know this one at all. Do not know it at all.
That's good.
All right, cool.
That's it? Yeah, I've got nothing else.
Blimey. Tamoor, what you got for us this week?
I've been spending my time with a charming outlaw gunslinger.
Oh, do we do it? Let's do it.
Yes, Ash is out on Overwatch PTR, everyone. Let's fucking go. New character for Overwatch. Really, really cool character. Damage dealer, kind of high mechanics. Man, Overwatch is such a good game. Everyone should be playing Overwatch.
Should have done a 3-man show.
Yeah, I regret this.
Should have done a 3-man show. You've been playing Red Dead.
I finished Red Dead last week, so...
Oh, God. How long did it take you?
AMA, ask me anything.
Go on, how long did it take you?
I think it took me about 60 hours, but I was playing, like, I was doing a lot. Like, I think you can mainline the story and get it done in about 50.
See, because this is...
I think I'm actually, like, at 65 hours or something like that.
This is what I'm worried about, because I must have put... I think I've probably put... I'd say about 15 hours in total. And I'm still on chapter 2. Is that bad?
No, it's absolutely like
right, okay.
the thing. I completely understand why James is struggling to play it. It's a game where you just have to, like, the beauty of it is you just have to let things happen to you instead of seek it out. And it's the pacing of it is, it demands, I think that it does kind of, you can play it in short bursts, but I preferred playing it in like long sessions. But those long sessions weren't like me going from point to point. It was just me just existing, going to a place, wandering around, and then the missions would come to me. So I think you should play that game at the pace that you just feel most comfortable with, and when you start to feel yourself like maybe feeling like tired out or bored by it, just stop playing for a bit, because it's a game that if you try and rush it, I think it loses so much of it. Yeah, and you get a bit cynical to it. That game is so good at hiding like the gamification and design elements of it. That's the open world stuff that we're so used to seeing through Ubisoft games and other open world games. The stuff that they lay bare, this game hides it. But if you like try and force your way through it, that stuff becomes more apparent. You start to see the gears and the kind of like how it's pulling you in different directions, and you start to kind of like see behind the curtains or see the code or whatever it may be. So I very much encourage like taking it slow and enjoying it, because like, by the time you reach the end, you will definitely appreciate the fact that you took it slow and you enjoyed the company of people and the places that you've been. It's one of those games where when you're done, you step back, and if you spend loads of time with it, you've got so much to reflect on, and you've got so much to talk about, and so much that has colored your experience in a way that's different from other people.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing that I'm struggling with, not struggling with at all, actually, I'm like, it's screwing me up a little bit, because I turn it on, I sit down, and I go, right, I'm really going to get into this now. I'm going to smash through some missions. I'm going to, really progress and start to get into the story and do this, that, and the other. And the amount of times I've just been wandering about and then see a poker table and just sit down and play poker for, literally 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And I'm thinking, I don't get much time to game anymore. But for some reason, I'm just addicted to just sitting down and playing poker in a bar. Like it sounds ridiculous, but then I say to myself, who gives a shit? I'm enjoying it. You know what I mean? It's not like I have to finish this game within the next month or so. If my experience at the moment is just, let's play poker for a bit. Let's go around and just talk to people, wind people up in a town for a little bit, and then ride off, and then maybe I'll do a mission tomorrow night. That's how I've been playing it, and that's why I've spent so long just in this early part of the game. I think I've come to terms with the fact that this is going to take me. I'll be surprised if I finish it this year, because
I will say, like, that is a great way to approach it, but at the same time, like, the spoilers will start happening. Like, I'm very, very surprised at how, because there is some stuff in there that you do not want spoiled for you. I'm surprised at how well the community has been with, like, I've seen some shitty tactics of it with people like donating to Twitch streams and stuff like that with the name of spoilers as their like username and stuff like that. But, the more time that goes by, the more inclined people will be to just openly discuss stuff that happens. And trust me, you don't want to let it linger for too long. I would try and like complete it, but complete it at a leisurely pace, and maybe be careful about surfing the internet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil the story. There's no doubt about that. But I have got a question that I'm going to word this in a very specific way. Trust me, people. If you don't trust me, just tune out for a little bit. But in any capacity, once the story is finished, can you go back into the world and do stuff? In a capacity.
I'm not gonna answer that question.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Because I'd have thought that'd be a complete non-spoiler thing. Okay, all right, fine.
I'm not gonna answer either way, because I don't want to say anything that can colour your experience.
I guess I just don't want to like play through the game
because the answer is both yes and no.
Right. Okay. Fine.
Oh god.
Okay, like that makes no sense. But it's good that it makes no sense. But yeah, I want to be able to go back into that world and do some other stuff as well. I just want to play poker. I want it to be my poker game now from now on. And oh my God, I've just had a thought. Oh God, if Texas Hold'em is in the online game, which it definitely will be.
It definitely will be.
That's my game then for next year. I'm just going to play poker dressed as a cowboy. That's it. That is it. Oh my God, the online stuff has suddenly become very, very interesting. That's blowing my mind. Oh my God, that's my game next year, Matt.
Wait, but you can't just like suddenly leave the table because you've got a baby to deal with.
Well, yeah. But
yeah,
still.
Yeah, I do get it.
That's going to be
4
sweet.
AM poker.
So I'm just, I think I'm coming to it feels like I'm coming to the end of chapter 2 because I'm building up to an event and slowly characters are starting to show their face who I think are going to be a major part of the plot going forward. So during the first time you go fishing with the little boy, you meet 2 characters. I'm assuming they're a big part of the plot. So it feels like the story's about to take off now. Matt, where are you?
So, I'm only like 2 or 3 hours into chapter 2. But I think I emailed you in the week. Like this game for the first time in last week, it did click for me. Although I'm also in a similar a similar sort of vein of thought to Farley. I also mostly can't be asked for this game, but I am pushing through with the game. Mostly because
I don't understand why can't you be asked?
It's very slow. The controls are just so unsatisfying. It just makes me. That's almost enough to make me. I just can't be bothered to play the game. Although I have played it. This week, and I continue to play it because I want to see what this game's about, and I want to obviously get used to the controls and get used to the world and understand the mechanics. And I know,
I'll tell you what, Matt.
I know I love it. What?
If you think the controls are bad, try playing it on remote play with a Vita. I tried that.
Is that what you've been doing?
I tried it the other day. I mean, obviously just for like a few minutes, and it's like unbelievable. Imagine, like, you know how bad all that stuff is with putting the right trigger.
Use the back touch.
And you have to, no, it's not the back touch. We have to use that touch screen, and so it's like using the touch screen to try and draw your weapon and fire and everything. It's
James.
How many sheriffs have you killed by accident on the Vita?
It's utterly unplayable, and it's like all it needs is a simple option to switch between like the L triggers, so that you can use those to like draw your weapon.
What, for the one person they're going to do that for the one person that's playing it on Vita?
But it's just more convenient. I can sit around and play that anywhere. I haven't got to be sitting in front of a TV. It's
James, this makes this even weirder.
Why?
Yeah, and you're not doing HDR, so you're not seeing the whole thing either.
I mean, that makes that comment even more bizarre.
It looks very good on a Vita OLED screen, David.
You're a fucking idiot.
But yeah, I mean, just like James, I'm also tired around 10 o'clock. But the thing is, it's annoying because I think, okay, I'm going to play Red Dead tonight. And it clicked for me last week, so I was like, I really want to do this, that, and the other. When by 10:30, I'm like, I'm just knackered, and maybe sleep would be better. But I'll push on for a bit, and I feel like half an hour isn't enough to sort of really delve into this game. About half an hour.
Well, no,
I've
not half an hour. I'm talking like an hour.
I've maybe done one mission, and then I'm like, okay, So although I mostly can't be asked this game, and the controls are massively hampering my enjoyment of the game, especially coming from something like Spider-Man, which felt fantastic control-wise. Like, the controls are so satisfying in a game that I maybe want to play the game more, whereas this feels like the polar opposite. Like, I'm just still like, okay, so what does this... Even, like, moments I've got to be quick on the draw, as it were, I'm like, okay, I think it's almost certainly that button. Oh no, I'm pressing the wrong one again. I know I need to play more.
I agree, the controls, and we spoke about it last week, I agree the controls are a problem. But I just every time I boot up that game and sink back into that world, it just feels so special to me, like almost magical. Like, I can't believe it. I literally took my Xbox into work today to show a few people at work.
Did you?
And we walked in. Yeah, I did, yeah. We hooked it up to the TV, and I walked them to Valentine and walked them through town. And as I was walking through town, there was a bar fight going on and all this sort of stuff. And it was just like, people sat there open mouthed, just going, this just looks incredible. And I'm like, it is.
Did the TV at work have HDR?
It
didn't actually, but it had 4K. It doesn't make a difference.
I will say, really? I mean, obviously this is one of the biggest games this year, and I have been excited for it. But even Red Dead Redemption, I dropped off, and I didn't even get to Mexico in that game.
That's crazy though, because that's not even that far in, Matt. It's
well, I just.
Oh, it is quite far in, isn't it?
No,
it's a good 10-15 hours in.
It's like a chunk into the game, but it's also the longest part of the game.
Yeah.
So you would have bounced off at that point anyway.
I mean, it's definitely the hard, but not the hardest part, but it's the hardest part to get through because it feels like a real grind over in Mexico.
But yeah, so Sam said that, I emailed you in a week, Dave. Like, I'd obviously got to chapter 2, and then I'd done it, like, I just wandered around for a bit, but then I had one night where I did a couple of missions, I did some side stuff, I did some hunting, I went to a bar, I played some poker, and I was like, okay, this game is clicked now. I can see there's a million different systems. I can exist in this living, breathing world. It looks stunning. I was really enjoying just walking around the place and experiencing it. So I feel like, if I have a session, like 2-hour session, in an evening, then I really sort of fall in love with it and get involved and feel the atmosphere of the game. But I feel like in these short little bursts, or just thinking, I just can't be arsed, I'm too tired tonight. I just feel like something's stopping me from playing it. I'm still playing it, and I've played it, the last few days. I'm going to continue to play it. I don't want to give up on this game at all.
This is starting to sound like, in your Game of the Year list, Detroit is higher than Red Dead. I don't want to...
And we've got a month, we've got like 6 weeks or so until the Game of the Year stuff is all to play for. It's all to play for.
I'll give you one tip. Something that I know I do a bunch, and a lot of people do, is when they're playing a game like this, they'll at some point think about, I wonder how many chapters are on this game, and they'll Google it. Do not do that at any point. Even if you just know the number, do not do that.
Because someone already mentioned it on a podcast this week, and I was like, okay, that's not so bad, right?
Yeah, but just don't.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do any Googling
because it changes the way you. I don't know, for some reason, giving it a goalpost and a finish line changes the way you think about that game, and it does some really interesting things that you just don't want to be spoiled, or you don't want to kind of like power your way through to.
Yeah,
Matt, it's just Matt. I can't. I'm so excited to turn it on in the night, and the moment I do, it just makes me feel. I just love it. I love it. It has got problems. There's no doubt about that. It isn't a perfect game, but the stuff. I mean, I've seen people, complaining about it on forums and saying, because it got an Edge 10 this week.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
And did it?
Yeah, so people. Yeah, it got an Edge 10. People saying
it's not out yet. How do you know?
The subscribers, they post it on Rollmap, don't they? Straight away.
It's not.
It started.
I haven't got mine yet. That's weird.
Well, sorry, mate. I don't control that.
I'm sure it's not out yet. But anyway, go on.
All right, well, go and have a look on Rollmap because all the scores are up there. Okay. What are you doing? Are you accusing me of lying?
Accusing me of lying?
You're accusing me of lying there? No. Okay, fine. All right, I'm lying. No, so it got this 10, and people were saying, but it's not perfect, and in fact, actually, it's a step back in many ways. And I understand that. I do. I think, in terms of controlling the game, definitely, I do think it's kind of a step in the wrong direction. They're asking too much of that pad, essentially. But the stuff that it does well, it does so much better than any other game that it is revolutionary to me.
Apart from the controls.
All right. Yeah, apart from the controls. And okay, some people put that as a massive high priority, and what I'd say is that I can still play this game. Like, the controls are not completely destroying the game for me. They're a minor annoyance. Whereas the world building in this game is such a huge step forward that I fully see this as just something, like as I say, magical. Like, I'm watching it, it's like I'm playing a game from the future. It's crazy.
It does feel like really, really next gen. When you just walk through town, you see the systems, and you realise there's like a million things happening at once, and most of which you probably won't even see, but just to experience so well. You can see a lot of things are happening. You can see it's like a super expensive game. It looks stunning. Definitely HDR, unbelievable, as we've all commented on. But yeah, I guess I just need more time to play it. I'd love a day off and just hammer this all day, and I'll be fully ingratiated in the game.
Well, that's what I've done. I mean, on Wednesday, it was just any excuse. Joe's going to work, Harry's going to school, and I said, well, it's my birthday, so I'm just going to... And she was like, oh, should I take the day off and we can do something. I was like, nope.
It's okay.
Go to work. I'm going to wake up, take Harry to school, come back and just play Red Dead until they come home.
I've done exactly the same thing. I booked the day off work and I'm
just your birthday.
Yeah, but you're going to play on the fucking Vita.
Right. Touch, baby.
Have you played anything else this week, Tamoor?
I played a bunch of Diablo on Switch. It's a very, very good version of that game, and the portable aspect of it makes it a really convenient and fun experience out on the go. I really like a portable Diablo, it turns out.
Nice. So is Diablo, I don't know anything about this game. Is it an online multiplayer game, essentially?
You can play it online multiplayer, but you can solo it. It's like a dungeon crawler, grind fest, fest game, but it's just like super, super satisfying. It's an amazing like podcast game, background game. You're just kind of like killing enemies, getting better gear, and you can team up with friends and kind of like do these weird dungeons and stuff like that. It's really, really fun. It's like it is almost drug-like in the satisfaction it gives you. It's the same kind of thing that, you know, stuff like Destiny and various other loot games trade in, but on the Switch, like I highly recommend it.
Cool. Okay.
And Overwatch.
And what's keeping you coming back to that game? Genuinely.
It's just really, really like. At this point, it's reached the point where it's my comfort game, and it's always interesting to play. It never gets stale. Like that's the thing about that game. They're always mixing things up, and the metas are always changing. And I play it with the same regular group of people. It's the same thing as like when you play Siege, or like whenever anyone has this kind of like regular game where they play with other people. I've got a group of friends that I play with, and we all kind of just get together. I mean, sometimes it's like 5 or 6 times a week and play it for a couple of hours every night. But like from a gameplay perspective, I think it's one of the most like well-designed and fun shooters out there. There's always like new strategies to think about and new ways to kind of approach a character and new team comps and kind of like I still haven't mastered most of the cast. Like I dip in and out of different characters, and it's always fun. Like I have my main character that I always pick, but I can sometimes come in and be like, oh, I'm just going to play Zenyatta today and see what that's like, and it feels fresh and different to me for a while, and then kind of like rejuvenates my love of the game and keeps it interesting. I think it's just a really satisfying, fun multiplayer shooter.
Is your main still Diva?
No, it's Zarya. I play Zarya.
Right, okay. Last time we spoke about it, you were all over Diva.
It isn't one of those games, Tamoor, that if you were to take like 2 weeks off, you know, it is taking 2 weeks off just enough to get you out of the zone, and you have to really focus on playing it hard to get back to where you were, or can you just stay away and come back and you're still enjoying it for what it was before?
Yeah, so like there was a period like around E3 where I didn't play it for like what felt like 5 or 6 weeks, and when I got back, I like jumped straight back in. And while I was out, I mean, like I was there, I was away from it working on Overwatch stuff. So like I was making a documentary about Overwatch League with like Lucy and a few other guys from the GameSpot US team, and like I was itching to play while I was there, but when I got back and started playing again, it was just straight back into it. Like it just felt good to be back and playing it. I don't feel like there's an uphill struggle to get back into it because everyone's way better now. That's not the kind of game it is. Like if you play a role well, like you're not going to get, I mean, you probably will if you get matched up against a super skillful team, but it's not like one of those ones where you're gone for 2 weeks and everyone's left you behind.
If you play role well, you're always going to be useful in a game.
Yeah, and like you know your role, right? You know how to, once you're familiar enough with it, you know how to play that character. So it doesn't really matter what scenario you're thrown in, as long as you're playing it well, you'll be having fun.
Yeah, no, I mean, it sounds like my Rocket League. That's what I mean. Rocket League is the game that when I'm not playing anything else, that's the game that's going on. And before I go to bed every night, I've got to finish with a game of Rocket League. You know what I mean? But for that game, the main focus is that pretty much, I'd say once every 2 games, you do something so good that it makes you feel like an absolute pro. You know what I mean? Like you'll score one goal or make an incredible save, and And then
same for Overwatch. Like you land a perfect ultimate, or you team wipe, or you just manage to like force through the payload at the very last second, and you like the endorphin rush. You just feel it's euphoric at times, and that's what keeps you coming back.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Matt. You got anything for us?
I've also been playing Tetris Effect, which came out. You also played it, didn't you, James, this weekend?
I did. Yeah, I did play it. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a weekend demo. Just ran last weekend. The game was out on, I think it's 9th of November. I mean, Tetris is obviously a classic. I wouldn't ever say I'll rush out to buy a Tetris game because I feel like I've played it, and I know like Tetris hardcore fans in the audience listening now are probably thinking, oh no, but there's loads of versions, they're all different in their own unique way. Anyway, I think personally Tetris is Tetris.
Okay.
Having said that, this game, I mean, and I played it on PSVR, but although Sean isn't here this week, he said he's had a massive fun playing it just in 2D, but particularly in VR, it's been...
That's what confused me. I thought it was a VR game. Like, so when you were all going, Dave, you got to play this, I'm like, really? What's the point? I haven't got VR. Like, so it's still the stuff that's really impressive with it. It isn't. So, by the sounds of it, VR only enhances it. It's not actually why
I played it in both modes, and I'd say the VR is still significantly better than playing it in 2D.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, obviously, but what I'm saying is that you can still understand why it's getting such high praise just by playing the standard version.
I mean, it's just like any other, like, say, a Mizuguchi game. Like, if you played, you probably didn't play Rez in VR, you probably didn't play Lumines in VR, but you still probably understand why those games are great. It's the same for this.
Yeah. Go on then, Matt. Why is it so good?
For me, it's the music but it feels. I mean, I didn't play Rez originally when it came out, like Dreamcast and original PlayStation, PS2, whatever it came out on. But I played like Rez Infinite, and particularly AOX with like the sort of the euphoric music and the beats and how it makes you feel, how it makes you feel. That's exactly what this game has got. And yeah, it's still just Tetris, but there were multiple points when I was playing as well. So almost like bopping my head because the music, the music's so good, and even it's like something as simple as like clearing a few lines, just with that combined with the visuals and the music and stuff, it's such a great feeling. Again, if you played Rez and you've played AOX, it's exactly that same sort of feeling. So Dave, I think you'll love it, even in non VR mode. I think it'll probably be fantastic. In the demo,
James, why are you a little bit more curious? Like, why are you a little bit more cautious?
Well, no,
about
he's
playing
right.
this in
I mean,
VR?
it's still in 2D. Obviously, would be really good. It's just that the VR, it gives that sort of all around feeling, especially with the sound. It just feels so much nicer, like having all the effects and everything, like really like sort of going into your, like, it feels like it's actually going into your face and everything, and like the sound completely surrounding you, and it like you feel part of it. And yeah, it's just a different. You don't, because it helps you to just purely focus on what you're doing rather than, whenever you're playing on a TV, there's like that level of like abstraction that you get because of the fact that there's a gap between you and the TV. But with it feels so much nicer, like playing it in VR. I feel.
Yeah, it's a couple of weird sensations, really. So in the demo, there's a few modes, one of which is journey mode, which I think in the full game, there's like shitloads of levels, and I think each one has a theme. In the demo, there was it was underwater, and then it changed like a different effect. And I think they said it's going to be like, you can go to like the Egyptian pyramids and all sorts of stuff. So you're playing Tetris, and there's always like crazy visual effects. But actually, most of the time, I sort of didn't really notice them because I was like so focused. I was like sort of channeling into just playing a Tetris, and maybe I think the music and maybe like the sort of the 3D and the VR sort of helped that in many ways. I wasn't really focusing on the visuals or the backgrounds behind like the Tetris board and around me. I was sort of zoned in, like tunnel vision on the actual Tetris like blocks themselves. But yeah, it just feels really fantastic, and I know anyone who's listened to this who's played like AOX will like this game, regardless of your feelings on whether it's just Tetris, isn't it? But also in the demo there, I'm not sure the name of the mode, but basically it's like the online multiplayer mode, and in those I think there's like is weekly or weekend, I think I might have read, challenges where it will like put you into like a Tetris board. Tetris board, is that what they're called? Tetris Whatever. It's called Tetris boards and get the emails and complaints. Yeah, you'll put into these, and it'll say, you've got to clear a certain amount of rows, or some other things here and there. So there's like little challenges, and these are global challenges. So I think one of them wanted the global community to amass like 20 million points, and so I mean, by the time I logged in on like Saturday or maybe like Friday evening, it had already been completed, and then everyone who's like sort of engaged in that competition or played on that weekend on that mode, you get like a limited edition like avatar or something. But you can also see all the other players like floating around this giant like 3D globe, and you can like travel around the globe to see other players and their scores around the planet, which is a really, really cool effect. And I mean, like I said at the start, I would never thought, I'm definitely going to get a Tetris game, but this demo has really, really sold me. I mean, I know like some people have been talking about it and really giving it incredibly high praise. And yeah, I know I like my VR stuff, but I thought, it's Tetris. I'm sure it'd be cool, but it just makes you feel amazing. And yeah, I didn't think I'd be bobbing my head along to a Tetris game, but there you go. It's happened. Have you played it, Tamoor?
No, I haven't, unfortunately, not yet, but I plan to, yeah. I'm going to try and nick the work PlayStation VR for it as well.
Does it use the famous Tetris song?
I don't know. I imagine at some point maybe it's unlockable.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it appears in some way or shape or form, but yeah, but music-wise it's...
a techno version of that. That would be great.
But no, I mean, I'm not sure if it's going to be a day one purchase, but yeah, I'm really excited to play it again because it's just, it's all the amazing feelings that Resident VR gave you, but now playing Tetris as well. So, did you play all the modes, James? Like, there's like a few different. I'm not sure what they're called, but there's like some where something like the table went like massive, and you're viewing it from a different angle, and.
Yeah, I didn't get to that one, which I regret now because now I've realised we've run out of time, haven't I? And I can't play it until I've.
What do you mean?
It's just a weekend demo.
The demo's over. Yeah.
Oh, is it? I can't play it.
It's just a weekend thing. Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Why? Oh God! I remember when the Wii U used to do that. You could play this 3 times. Like, no, leave me alone. Just let me play the fucking marketing demo that you put out. You fuck.
Yeah, this is actually out in 4 days' time. So this is out on Thursday, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, God, I'm tempted. Anyway, that's all I'm playing. The Tetris Effect and the Cowboy game.
Barely. Right, okay, so I've got a few other games to add. I've been playing Friday the 13th, which is obviously been doing the rounds over Halloween. It was being sold for £4.70 on Xbox, and it was free last month on PS Plus. So I think that's why people are talking about it again. My God, is that game janky as fuck? But my God, is it funny?
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it shouldn't be because it's a mess. Like it's a total fucking mess. But yeah, Matt, do you know much about this?
I mean, I've heard people talk about it and say it's sort of a fun multiplayer experience, but that's basically all I know.
It's Evolve, but better.
Okay.
I mean, that makes me laugh as well because, like, the amount of marketing and build up to Evolve and it come out and it was a wet fart, and then this sort of just bumbled out of the development studio with filled with bugs and glitches and weird animations, and people have taken to it. So yeah, that's what it is. It's is it a 7 versus 1 match where there's 7? They've got a name for them. I can't remember what they call the civilians. It's something really weird, like agents or. But it's not.
It's like camp something.
Nah, they got like some really weird name, like investigators or some shit like that. Basically, you're civilians, and you really haven't got many ways of attacking, and you've got to kind of work together. By you can find a car, and then when you find the car, you've got to put a battery in and put petrol in and find the keys and start it up and get it moving to escape. Counsellors, that's it.
That's what it is.
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't get
camp
that.
Counsellors, isn't it? It's an American thing.
It's got to be. It's got to be linked back to the movie or whatever. There are various different ways to get away from Jason. One of them can be calling the police and then surviving for 5 minutes, and then making it to the police car, stuff like that. The other person, the one on the team on their own plays as Jason, and you've got a ton of like abilities. You can warp to different parts in the map. You can see through walls and stuff to see people and do things like that. And it's just so funny, especially when you're playing with a big group of your mates and you're all playing together and you just notice that one person in your party chat hasn't said anything for a while. Like everyone else is going, right, has anyone got the battery? Does anyone have, right, I'm at the car. If I'm at the car, you bring that. And then you notice that someone's being quiet and you just think, John, are you Jason? Nope. John, are you Jason? All of a sudden, you're being stabbed in the back of the neck, and he's just cracking up, and he's just like, "Fucking hell!" You know, it's moments like that, and there's plenty of abilities to get away from Jason. So when he comes at you with a knife or whatever, you can batter him over the head, or if he's attacking one of your teammates, you can, if you're about, you can stun him and run off and stuff like that. Stupid game, and I can't imagine playing it for, you know. Like, it's not going to be a main game that I'm playing a lot of, but for £4, are you having a lot? I've already had enough out of it to have enjoyed it. I mean, the one night we played it when there was a big group of us, I've played it for 2 nights, right? But the first night when there was a big group of us, I had stomach cramps where we were laughing so hard, either from the crappy animations or just being in that situation where we were all running around pretending not to be Jason and all that sort of stuff. It was great. So yeah, I mean, next time that's going for cheap. Jump on it.
Yeah, it did look
just
fun.
One night on it would be worth it.
Yeah,
I can't believe you didn't pick it up. £4.70, man.
They talk about it quite a lot on Player One podcast because it's one of their favourites, or at least CJ's one of his favourites.
Yeah, it's a good. I mean, yeah, it's good fun. Like it's something you'll boot up every now and then, just have a laugh with. The other game I've been playing started Shenmue 2. I have got a few observations. I'm 2.5 hours into the game. I will say this, James, and I don't know if you're disappointed by this as well. The game has a mechanic where if you don't know where you're supposed to go next, you can talk to a civilian, they say, follow me, right? The problem is they overuse that. Like, one of the things that I liked about Shenmue is that you can go up to random people and they won't always have anything interesting to say, but it felt like they were a character in this game, you know, and you could either get a little snippet of their personality, or you could get something out of approaching people and talking to them. In this, I'm not talking to any strangers because I know it's just going to be, I'm going there now, follow me. Like it's like everyone says that.
I think one of the things that actually I don't think they did quite as well in Shenmue 2 was probably like the level of detail with stuff like that, because I mean the environment that you're in, first of all, is bigger. Like it's supposed to be
it's massive.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like larger. So the idea, I think, of like putting so much like sort of detail in for the characters and everything, and also they'd already beginning. I don't know if they were beginning to run out of money, but it was already becoming a problem in the sense of like how much.
God, I mean, right at the start when you get to the harbour, it's like absolutely rammed with people, and you can understand that. And I thought, fucking hell, there's so many people. I can't wait to talk to them. And then they literally had a section where they were roped off. And I thought, that's really not Shenmue. That's not what the first game did at all. This is really. But
there's also like a massive lack of detail in like if you go into like houses and stuff, you can't like there's not as many like drawers to rifle through and stuff like that either. They like really stripped all that back because I think by that stage it had really got to the case of like we've got to release this because we can't just like keep building this world because it's never going to come out.
Yeah. The only other observation I've got is that Joy is really annoying. Like, just keeps turning up and getting involved in my scraps. We know Dio. He can batter the crap out of anyone. And instead, Joy just turns up. And it's like, no, just go away for a bit. Let me have a fight. It's getting on my nerves. And of course, I mean, it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But so that was Shenmue 2. The other game that I've been playing this week is Crayola Scoot. Have any of you heard of this?
No. It's the Splatoon style
game,
I mean, right?
That's the I mean, it's strange. It's I mean, for starters, it's a Crayola game, so it's branded with the crayons and everything. And the pitch for it, or the shorthand way of describing it, is it's a Tony Hawk game, but with Splatoon stuff. So essentially, it's genius because you know, in Splatoon, it's a shooter, and you spray the levels, and you try and fill it with your colour. In this, instead of shooting, you're doing tricks, and every time you pull off big tricks, you splatter paint everywhere. Like, if you hit a good trick, the bigger tricks you do, the more paint you spray around the map. And yeah, I'll say this, right? For starters, Harry is loving it. Like, every morning he's waking up and he's wanting to play it. Like, he's obsessed with it at the moment. And the good thing about it is that it's obviously aimed at a younger audience, and it's a lot more forgiving than Tony Hawk or any of these games ever were. Like, you don't have to be straight when you land your tricks. You don't have to there's no like wobbly balancing when you're grinding and stuff like that. It's pretty forgiving with stuff like that. The one thing that sticks out is that I'm playing on the Switch, and the frame rate is pretty bad. And I've noticed as well that it drains the battery when you're playing in handheld mode, and the frame rate is definitely worse in handheld mode, which is surprising because, well, it sort of shows up how good Nintendo are with their own hardware. Like, Splatoon looks way better than this, like way better, and it handles it quite well, exceptionally well. On this, because the frame rate and the art style it doesn't really, it's a little bit, not budget, but it doesn't quite nail the look it's going for. It's very cel shaded and stuff like that, but it just doesn't quite nail that. What I will say is that beneath that, there is a genuinely good trick system there, and although the maps and stuff, they're not as inspired as they probably should be in 2018. They're still pretty good. You know, they still do a good job. And I'm not, the stuff that I've played of it, and I have played quite a bit, although Harry has been playing a hell of a lot more than I have. The stuff that I've played with it has been quite enjoyable and quite challenging, which is good in respect that I can actually play the game and get something out of it. But it's a little bit frustrating for Harry because he's finishing last in a lot of the competitions. But to be fair, he is only 4. So, you know, the older he gets, like, the more, more into it he'll get, and it'll start like rising up the ranks or whatever. But there's something there. There is something there. It's just a shame that the performance isn't quite up to scratch. I mean, I can deal with it not looking too good or disliking the art style. But what I can't deal with is frame dropping, especially in a game where you're trying to focus on, you know, pulling off your tricks, and it's sort of every frame matters. And when it stutters a little bit, it's just well off-putting. So it's hard to score, which we don't really do on this show anyway. But I would say if you've got young kids and you want to have a game alongside them, then maybe look at the PS4 and the Xbox version. It might be worth picking up. The only thing is, I don't know what the price is. If it's above 20, 25 quid, then it's going to be hard to recommend. But what I will say is that, you know, if your kid's anything like my son, they'll be obsessed with it. He's doing things in that game that he doesn't do in other games, you know, like he is earning currency and going and spending it. Which actually scares me a little bit now, to be honest with you. But and he's using the right stick, and he never uses the right stick in games, so it's sort of getting him used to the idea of sort of dual stick controls and stuff. But more importantly, he's just having so much fun with it.
This game is like $31.68 cool. For all platforms on Amazon. So
$31.68. That is probably a little bit higher than I'd expect it to be, because the biggest standout lack of feature in this is the lack of online play. So it's got most of the game modes in this, you're battling against teams or other players, but they're all AI controlled, and there's no online play. It just kind of feels like surely that should be the whole point, especially with a Splatoon, because it really does feel like you're playing Splatoon at times. The whole idea is that you're spraying paint over everywhere, and then the map zooms out and you get to see where all the paint is, and then it tells you what percentage of it is in your colour. You know, it's Splatoon essentially, but without online play, it's kind of weird. Like, you feel like it was either stripped out, or I mean, it's weird that it's not there. But you know, that hasn't affected his enjoyment of the game.
I reckon it'll be on sale pretty soon.
Yeah, it probably will be, and it's one to keep an eye out because it certainly does Tony Hawk's better than the last Tony Hawk game did. So that's something. If you're missing that style of game, then this would definitely be worth looking at. It's a shame because it's an okay game on my level. Forgetting what Harry thinks of it at the moment, it's an okay game on my level, but it could have been so much better if they nailed just the frame rate and made it look a little bit better, and maybe was a little bit more imaginative with the levels. Then I think it could have really actually been a massive surprise. But as it stands, it's a little bit disappointing, but still very playable.
It sounds like a neat idea, scootering around. Yeah.
It's a fucking brilliant idea. Like, it's an incredible idea. And essentially, without those flaws, it would be incredible. You know what I mean? Like, just the idea of removing the shooting. No, don't get me wrong, I love Splatoon. I'm not saying it's improving. It's like a better idea than Splatoon is. It isn't. It's taking two game genres and mashing them together. But the idea of, hey, doing these tricks sets off the paint. And so you've got to travel around as fast as you can, doing as many tricks as you can. It's a genius, but it doesn't quite nail it. But yeah, I don't know. If it sounds up your street, then it's worth giving it a go. Nice. Especially if you've got young kids in the house. Yeah, that's it, I think. That's all I've got down. So that's me done. It's time for emails. Who's reading them out?
James, that's you.
Why am I reading these out?
That's what happens when Sean's not here. You're second in command.
Yeah, let's do them. Come on, James. Come on. This is the new rule. You got to.
If you want to,
if you want to,
I don't agree to that. I'll do it this time, and we'll see how it goes. If you want to email us, it's thecomputergameshow@gmail.com. The first one is from Capone Adam. He says, "Ho ho ho, boys and girls! It is I, Father Christmas. Well."
Why didn't you just pretend it was Father Christmas?
Yeah, I even put his name on the bottom and put his name as Father Christmas at the top.
Well, it's got in brackets Capone Adam, but never mind.
Yeah, but I didn't want you to read out until the end.
All right, okay, so Father Christmas has emailed in.
It is I, Father Christmas. Well, Halloween bonfire night is now over, so it is now officially Christmas time minus Black Friday and that war day with the red flowers. Once those are out of the way, it is proper Christmas time and the time to get excited. I enjoy listening to your show whilst wrapping up the presents, and I was wondering, what were your Christmas gaming centre around this year? A new game, or perhaps catching up with an old game you missed perhaps? Ho, ho, ho. Yours sincerely, Father Christmas. In brackets, Capone Adam.
Actually, Father Christmas, you should know exactly what my gaming's going to be around this Christmas. Pretty sure. Don't tell anyone, especially not Harold. It's going to be Mario Party. I think that's going to be played a lot over Christmas because it's on his list and he's been a good boy, sort of. So yeah, I think that I've got no choice in the matter.
Sounds like a good
that's
Christmas game.
I think it sounds like a brilliant Christmas game. I'm really looking forward to it because initially he wanted Smash Brothers, which I'm sure he'll get at some point, but I'm kind of glad that he switched to Mario Party because that sounds like just a far more fun thing to do, especially as you say, James, that you can play it as a team.
Yeah.
How about you, James? What's your Christmas game this year?
It probably will be Mario. Smash Brothers. I'm sure it's probably going to be that. That's going to be what we'll be playing over the Christmas.
Is it going to get serious in your house?
Nah, not at all. It'll just be
you don't think?
It'd be me and Asher playing and like having to have CPU opponents and putting them down to the lowest level, and then I have to just keep losing all the time, and that's what it's going to be. Yeah.
Oh dear. Yep. Tamoor?
Probably going to be catching up with some games, like as a Yakuza, the latest one I haven't played yet. Well, I played a bit of it, but I need to finish it. Started Fist of the North Star, I want to finish that. Going to be playing Overwatch a bunch. Hitman 2, I reckon, a bunch of.
That is a good shout. There's a lot of games that I've forgotten about that are still to come out. Like Batters, I mean, I've got no interest in
It's crazy that's still come out this year. That's totally gone. It's just, it doesn't feel like people are talking about it at all. I know
they've delayed the Battle Royale mode, haven't they? Isn't that coming next year now?
Yeah, till March. Well, I think that makes sense, honestly. Like, we'll give everyone enough time to maybe get their feel of Blackout and then see where we are. I think that makes sense to push it back 6 months. But releasing it now, it'll be dead in the water. There's no point. especially with their history of servers crashing on day 1 or day 6 or whatever it was. So I think it makes sense for them to push it back.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that that's the reason why they've done it, but I see what you're saying. I mean, yeah, there's that. There's Fallout is out soon. Yeah, as you say, Smash Brothers it's crazy.
Pokemon.
A lot of the games we have to I end up playing for by the end of the year. I'm mostly done with most of the games that have been released. So because game of the year and review coverage, feature coverage, that kind of stuff. So the end of my years are usually more towards catching up with TV shows and movies and that kind of stuff. So I end up playing lifestyle games like Overwatch and Siege and that kind of stuff. But
I will say this though, that just the idea of a Christmas game, I've definitely got to find a game that I can, I love those 2 or 3 hour mainly narrative experience or short adventure games. The likes of, what do you call it, Gone Home and stuff like that. Just a short, 3 hour experience that sort of sticks with me. Playing that over the Christmas period, just starting and finishing a game within that week is always a really nice feeling. So, I'm getting a bit excited about that, actually.
I told you what I did with that last year, which was awful, where I played all of the Walking Dead games. The Telltale ones.
Yeah, that's just incredibly depressing.
It was horrible, but I kind of got sucked in, and then I just I've got to finish these now, and I ended up playing all of them and felt horrible through the whole Christmas. It wasn't good.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean that's gonna be class. Matt, have you said yours?
No, I mean I'll probably still be doing Red Dead. I mean, I do want to get a new Pokemon game to see what that's like. So maybe that as well. Who knows? But
so is that next week?
That's out. When's that out?
It's next week.
26th of November, I think.
26th, yeah.
I thought it was 16th.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Oh, it could be a 16th. Who knows? But yeah,
I'll tell you what is out next week is Civilization on Switch. I mean, you're not going to see me after that comes out, I don't think, because it's going to be all about that.
Yeah, you're right. It is the 16th of November. Yeah. So, I'm quite interested in trying that after hammering.
You're going to link it to your Pokemon Go? Are you still playing Pokemon Go?
I'm hammering it every single. Yeah, I'm massively into that. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. I
still see the odd person on the bus doing that.
Yeah, I do it everywhere I go.
Loves it. James, yep, next.
Okay, we've got tweets. If you want to tweet us, it's at ComputerGamePod on Twitter. At the Shen says, could you ask Tamoor what his favourite Street Fighter is on the recent 30th anniversary release, and why is it Third Strike?
That's Third Strike. The Shen knows. This was just, he's just baiting me. He knows.
It's just jokes.
Third Strike. It's just Third Strike. Just me and him. We have this agreement. That Third Strike is the best thing. Anytime one of us mentions Third Strike, the other one just goes, Third Strike, yeah.
Great joke.
Yeah, Third Strike.
Sounds like a good agreement.
Yeah.
Next.
Futile Exercise says, at Tamoor, will Chat Very Good get to episode 50?
Yeah, I mean, I'm up for this. What the fuck has happened to that podcast? I used to love that shit.
It's fucking dead. Forget about it.
Why?
Because life got in the way, and all of us are doing different things. I mean, I would be up for it, but I don't anticipate. Everyone's working on there. Joe's on the IGN podcast. He's got enough podcasts to worry about. Chris has got enough things to worry about. Same with Gary's. I imagine Gary would be up for it, but Gary ain't doing fuck all. He's just sitting at home.
He's got a podcast to worry about. He's busy. I get Gary's around. Gary's a very busy man. He's a great father of two. He's got a lot of time on that. Sam is insufferable to talk to. I love Sam. But I don't know. I don't know. It's just we had to stop for a bit, and then we just never picked it back up. I still own my younger brother is a web designer, and he's developer as well, and that kind of stuff. He makes apps and shit like that, and he's always trying to learn the latest shit in terms of technology and design and that kind of stuff. So I saw him the other day, and he was redesigning the Chat Very Good website, and I was like, why are you doing this?
He's bringing it back.
And he was like, I don't know, I'm just figuring stuff out. And I was like, maybe I should bring it back.
I still specifically remember that story where you went into a kebab shop or something. Oh no, that was Joe's story, right? But then you said that there was a picture of Pierce Brosnan in your local kebab shop.
It's still there. No, it wasn't Pierce Brosnan. It was what's his name? Fucking David Schwimmer.
Listen, are they still online?
Not even him eating a kebab.
Are they still online?
Chat Very Good. Yeah, they're all there.
Right. If you've not heard it, then definitely go check out Chat Very Good. Yeah. It's a good podcast. Okay.
Next one, yeah. Okay. Does Matt have any money left following the launch of the online Sega shop? It's amazing. That's from Thomas.
It is. They launched that, was it the week before last? The Dreamcast stuff is so good, but...
See,
my prediction is that Matt hasn't spent a penny on that online.
Oh no, of course
shop,
not.
right?
I got new money, baby. No,
you're talking about buying a new Pokemon game or Pokemon game or whatever.
I said I'm interested in playing it. Did I say? I didn't.
And Tetris.
Yeah, I said I was interested in playing it. I didn't say I was interested in buying them, Dave.
Matt, listen, I wouldn't get on your back about this if you didn't constantly bang on about how much of a Sega fan you are. You're clearly not. You don't buy any of their shit.
I haven't got any money right now. Anyway, regardless.
You're buying Tetris.
David, he is not buying Tetris. Like, it's not going to happen, let's be honest.
He's already traded Red Dead back, isn't he?
Don't check my recent play history.
Can get right? I got to ask. So this is what's this Sega? Is this the thing on Switch?
No, it's the online Sega shop. It's all like the clothing and all the merchandise and all that kind of thing. And to be honest, like a lot of the stuff on there, it does look really good. But then I realised that I'm nearly 40, and I just thought I can't wear any of this stuff anymore. It's just
yeah. I'm not sure if there's anything I'll wear outside, but yeah, there's like some Dreamcast socks and other stuff. Yeah, it looks great, but.
That is true, James, man. You're literally days away from 40.
I'm not days away from 40. I'm still 2 years away from it. It's fine.
All right, okay.
That's like 780 odd days. That's still days.
I would love to see James in one of the Yakuza tops. Just big fucking dragon on him.
I linked him to that. I was like, James, look at this.
I've already got a t-shirt. It's like...
Yeah, so...
now you can have a hoodie and some socks.
Mate, I was going to buy one of those. I still might.
Oh, God. That's it. You're not coming back.
Oh, James, you should get a Kiryu mug and put it on the desk at work.
Well, that'd be fine. I wouldn't mind that. It's just the clothing, isn't it? It's like there was some really good, like looking like Jet Set Radio Future stuff, and you're just thinking that looks really great. But again, I'm a balding, nearly 40-year-old man. I can't wear things like that anymore.
I'd love to see you in like Jet Set Radio outfit, wearing roller skates, cutting about EGX or something.
No, not cutting about EGX. Giving a full-on lecture in a university.
Just fucking grinding off desks, talking about whatever you teach.
Sharp and eat! Just screaming down the microphone.
The policeman running after you, trying to hit you with a baton.
But the online shop is good. It looks very good, but yeah, I'm too old. Anyway,
graffitiing on the children's faces. God.
Chris Cleveland says, "Do you have a game which you loved when you were younger, but are scared to replay in case now you hate it?" For me, that is. How do I pronounce this, Matt? What is it? Is it Gynoga and Ranger X?
That sounds it. Sounds like it to me.
This is why I hate doing the reading of the letters and tweets, you see, because people have daft...
You're a teacher! You're a teacher and you're scared of reading.
No, it's the daft usernames. It's the daft usernames, and it's annoying.
You lived in China!
Yeah, but those ones, there's a logic to them. There's like no logic to some of this stuff. It's just, you know.
When you said you didn't want to do the reading of the letters, I thought you meant actually the letters in the...
the G and Y and N.
Oh, there's too many S's in this. Yeah, I mean, Guy Spy is one. I used to hold that game in high regard, and I don't want to go back to it. I saw a video on YouTube of it the other day, and I thought, oh my God, this is appalling. And what's the other? I've mentioned it a few times. Crystal, I think it was called, where it was like a point and click game on the Atari STE, and it had voice. It was voiced like the intro was voiced by who's the games master? Patrick Moore?
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I think that's it.
He voiced the start of it, and you could walk around and you could just type stuff in, and the game knew what you were saying. That was like its its unique selling point. You just travel around to different planets and just talk to people. It's a really weird game. But yeah, I wouldn't want to go back and try it again now because I bet it's a mess. But I remember that game so much as a kid.
I think,
James?
Matt, you're about to find out, Matt, with Alex Kidd, like this feeling.
Yeah, so I think is Gaming Bible put out a video on the weekend, or I think it was the weekend, where it's like, oh, who remembers Alex Kidd? It's 32 years old. And I watched that video and I was like, oh my god, the sounds and the music, I remember this. And even at the time...
I remember not playing this because I'm clearly not a Sega fan.
Yeah. Even at the time, it was like, what's that, Dave?
Also, was it one of those posts where it's like, hey, remember, you want to feel old? Look at what Alex Kidd looks like now. It's like a picture of Wayne Rooney.
He's fucking Alex the adult now.
Sorry, go on, Matt.
So on this video, I was like, oh god, even at the time, I remember finding this really hard. I never finished it at a time. I never finished it when I was younger. But I'm gonna get that Sega Vintage Collection. Actually, I've got it. And it's working now after like a whole weekend of mess. But regardless, I'm gonna stream some Alex Kidd, and James is gonna be there to, I don't know, shoutcast it. I don't know.
Well, James has given you a challenge. If you complete it without using one of the states,
that's not going to happen.
He's going to give you 20 quid.
That's not going to happen. Clearly,
20
How
quid.
long is the game anyway, James? I don't remember.
It took me about 3 years to finish when I was a kid.
Yes, exactly.
Constant playing.
I mean, so I've got it working, and I'm going to stream it, and then James is going to be on stream as well. And I guess we'll discuss the game as I'm struggling through it. But even watching the video today, I think I'm more scared of this than I was playing Dark Souls, because I think I'm going to really struggle. Whereas Dark Souls had systems I could learn.
Yeah, Dark Souls you scream through, didn't you, Matt? Yeah. Jesus.
No. But I had systems I could learn, and I had lots of support. This is like some 32-year-old game. Well, I'm worried, but that's going to happen at some point soon.
This is the one. I like one of the comments where somebody said they'd learned like the term collision detection because of this game, because it's just so terrible. It's it's one of those ones where I've got fond memories of it because I remember playing it. Obviously, because I got it. It was one of the first games I ever owned, but it has aged very, very badly. It's
was it the one that was free on the Master System?
Yeah, it was built-in,
pre-installed. Yeah. I just remember the rock paper scissors stuff with that.
Yeah,
there was a whole bunch of them, and I'm sure I told you about that time. One of those games made me throw up, like because of the colours and everything. It was just horrible.
No,
did I tell you this? I'm sure I've told you this before.
The colours made you throw up.
No, I borrowed Alex Kidd and the Lucky Stars off somebody at school, and because I could only have it for that evening, I set up. I waited until everyone had gone to bed, went back downstairs, and I just played it all night. And I did finish the game, and then I threw up. And I think it might have been
in celebration.
It might have been the lack of sleep, but I always just feel it was the colours in the game were just like so like garish and just horrible, and it was really good.
There's lack of sleep, and there's all those cheese strings. You just mainlining them.
Just imagine waking up in the morning and seeing your son in front of Alex Kidd just vomiting, just spraying everywhere,
James,
shouting, "It's the colours." Tamoor, have you got one that you're actively avoiding?
Did you ever play Jackie Chan Stuntmaster?
No.
It's this Jackie Chan platforming game based on the animated Jackie Chan series that was really, really fun when I was a kid. Well, not a kid, but I was a teenager or some shit. But even then I was like, this is janky, but it's really, really fun as well. But I don't want to go back to play that game just because I know that I'm not going to be able to look past of how shit it is to play.
Yeah.
But it was a really fun, like, it had Jackie Chan being Jackie Chan while you're doing this side-scrolling platform beat 'em up.
What does that mean? What, you just like beating people up?
Yeah, beating people up, but then, like, when you hit him with a punch, he'd act hurt himself and stuff like that. That Jackie Chan comedy, classic Jackie Chan stuff.
I suppose Time Splitters 2 as well falls into this. Because the controls were so of the time that going back to it is just going to frustrate the shit out of me, right? Yeah. I can't do it. Although we played it a little bit of that at the Science Museum, didn't we, James?
Yeah, it was all right. It was fine. I mean, it's better than like stuff like Perfect Dark and everything, which is
true,
actually unplayable. But yeah,
true. All right.
Okay, Kurt Lewin says, which of you would stand the best chance of winning The Apprentice?
Me. Next question.
Why?
I'm not going to dispute that because I would have no interest in doing that. So yeah, that'd be fine.
No, it's not about whether you'd have interest, is it? It's just like, if you were in that situation, it would be the best. I've got some brilliant ideas, I've got some brilliant ideas. So me. And not only that, we get into the boardroom. Sean's going to be like, Sean would be like, I suppose I was really bad, wasn't I? I guess.
No, Sean would just stab me in the back. It just, that's going to happen. He always does.
James, you just like, you'd be coming down to the arguing in the ballroom and you'd be like, I just can't be bothered. Can I just go to bed? It'd just be, you get sacked on the spot. Matt, I don't know. Matt would be competitive. I think Matt would be competitive.
No, I think I'll be fine. Like the marketing stuff, like playing this, that'd be fine. And then when I get into the boardroom, I'll just, crumble like a house of cards. Game over.
So we all agree then, right?
Did we all in agreement? Next question.
Let's go.
Do you watch that, Tamoor?
No, man, I've got better things to do.
I mean, I love it, right? We watch it every year, and I've been enjoying it this year. But it is just getting funny how, like, the lines now, from Alan Sugar are just so forced.
That's the thing. I don't like him, and I don't like TV shows where the main objective is sucking up to someone.
I love it.
And that's what that entire show is about, right?
Totally.
It's like, let's impress this dude that sold a fucking computer out of a van at one point in his life.
I keep saying to Joe when we're watching it, like, at no point, why doesn't one of them just say, sorry, mate, can you just, do you have to be that fucking rude? Just completely shut up.
Is he still successful?
Yeah, he's still pretty successful.
Well,
not as much as but
Yeah, but why is he successful? What's he doing?
I'd love to be on there just so I could be like, who the fuck are you?
Not quite as successful as the one that did it in America, though, is he? I mean, that guy...
No, yeah. He's doing all right for himself.
He's
the definition of failing upwards, so...
But yeah, no, when they feed him his lines now, and he struggles to get through them because clearly his heart's not in it anymore. And he's like, well, actually, this wasn't a piece of cake, was it? And they barely get any laugh out of the ballroom anymore. You just go, Jesus Christ, man, just give it up. Give it to someone else. If you could replace Alan Sugar with anyone in The Apprentice, who would it be? It's got to be Harry Hill, right? It's just got to be.
Or like, is it Richard Ayoade? Is that
Richard Ayoade?
No, he's like the comedy writer. He's in like the IT Crowd and stuff.
Oh God, he would be so good. You're absolutely right. Yes.
Wait, what are you going for? So you're going for you have
a business acumen,
comedy, right?
Tamoor.
Well, for his haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose comedy, it's got to be funnier, isn't it? But I suppose we'll have to stick to the...
Get Anne Robinson in there.
Yeah, I mean, she could be a dickhead to people, can't she?
Yeah, just be an absolute fucking sourpuss the entire
time. Although, yeah, has she still got it in her? I'm not saying the weakest link.
Yeah, let's not talk about game shows and do another tweet.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
No, Pat Sharp, that's my suggestion.
Neil Buchanan.
That would be brilliant.
Neil Buchanan just for fucking constantly drawing on the floor, this prick.
This isn't Apprentice. This is Apprentice. Yeah, and like, his assistants would be like, he's like Chris Packham and Michaela Strachan. He's like 8 assistants. I would start watching the show again if that was to happen.
Pat Sharp and then the twins being the ones that help him. Okay, James, now we'll stop talking about it.
Cami Toman says, is there a video game series you would embarrass yourself by getting angry at a mobile version being made for?
Half-Life.
Titanfall.
Animal Crossing.
Too late, James. Too late. Overwatch Mobile?
Nah, I'd play that.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day...
I don't have it in me to get angry at things that I can easily just ignore.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I don't either, really. Unless it's Half-Life 3 was mobile only, and I would probably, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably just pass out.
I would respect that so much.
That would be the one, wouldn't it? That would be the one that would absolutely break the internet if Valve come out and said, we're releasing Half-Life. It's a free-to-play match-free puzzle game.
It's a match-free,
yeah.
Half-Life match-free is the name.
Half-Life match free to play.
Even better.
Every time you line up 3 in a row, it just goes, what is it? What's the guy's name? Gordon?
Yeah, Gordon.
Yeah,
Gordon
it's just G-Man going. Yeah, it's G-Man. Every time you match it, goes, Gordon Freeman.
Gordon Freeman.
Gordon Freeman.
Gordon Freeman.
I didn't see you there, Gordon.
Black Mesa. It's just when you get like 2 in a row.
Horrendous. I mean, I think we've got some episode titles there.
Half-Life free to play.
Half-Life free to play. Gordon free to play, man.
Okay. James, you're not enjoying this bit of the show, mate?
No. It's, I don't want to read out another one because it's just going to go off on a tangent of nonsense. It's just...
It's because the clock...
Battle, James.
Because the clocks have changed, so the hours are different.
Yeah, he's still got a hangover from that 2 weeks ago.
Nick purchased an Xbox One recently to play Forza Horizon. He also owns a PS4 Pro. He says the Xbox is a beautiful looking console. The Game Pass is great, but my god, the UI... What?
If the PS4 Pro leaves the Amazon warehouse at 2 o'clock, the Xbox One X leaves at 4:30.
The PS4 is being travelled by bus.
The Xbox One X is
biked it
by Yodel. Which one will arrive first? Sorry.
Go on, James. Sorry.
So basically, he thinks the Xbox One X dashboard is shite, and
he's right.
That's it, basically.
All right. Okay. Thanks.
It's a dance like barely used to be, but my god, it's not great. Yeah.
I think it's all right. It does the job.
No, it doesn't. That's the problem. Anyway,
no, it does do the job, James.
It doesn't. It's terrible, David. It's Anyway,
yeah, but you're playing it on the fucking launch Xbox. I told you before.
It's a ridiculous difference on the X. I mean, it's usable now.
I'm with you, James. It's arse.
That is funny. Go on.
Last one. Luke Simmerhay says, "What game do you each move?" I can't even speak anymore. I don't know what's going on. What
is the matter, James? Mate, come on, man. What's up?
What game do you each most you feel? That's why. What does that mean? What does that mean? What game do you each most you feel you need to play for the Game of the Year show that you haven't touched yet? The answer is obviously Spider-Man. I don't know, whatever.
Celeste for me. I think I should play that.
I don't want anyone to. And that came out like January. No one should forget about Celeste. So good.
Yeah, I should. I should have that on my list really. So maybe I'll get to that just before the Game of the Year show. But that's the one that instantly comes to mind.
It's not Game of the Year.
What about? No, I don't think.
Mine's Return of the Obra Dinn, which
oh god, yeah. Is there even a console release announced for that yet?
I don't think so, as far as I know.
Is it on Mac?
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it might.
That might be a way of playing it. Yeah,
everyone's saying it's amazing. Maybe I need to check that out.
I've got it installed, and my mouse is hovering over the icon. I'm going to play it soon.
Here's a question then, Tamoor. So, if you were on the show for the Game of the Year show, you had to nominate 4 games. What would it be at this point?
Oh, Sir David Gage, Game Call again.
Detroit?
Get rid of that fucking thing.
Oh,
hey, come on.
That's a shame.
Let's not get personal.
What was your 4 games, mate? Come on.
What's that? Say that again?
What would your 4 games that you'd nominate onto that list?
What, Game of the Year?
Yeah. Would God of War be on that?
God of War, Red Dead, Dead Cells.
Dead Cells is a shout.
I forget what else was that. Yeah, I know.
Did it really?
I played it last year on PC as well, and like I'd specifically say the Switch version of Dead Cells, which I know people know. Oh, it's not as good as the other one, but like, come on, it's pretty damn good. Maybe last one probably be Into the Breach.
So Dead Cells and Hollow Knight can't make our list this year.
Yeah,
because they both come out last year.
And Into the Breach as well. But yeah.
Oh wow. Shit.
Yep.
Man, people are going to get angry at our list. I mean, I can already see it. The moment that Detroit's announced on it,
I'm already angry at Matt's list.
I haven't. There's lots of great games like this year. They might slip off the list.
Matt, you've got to.
I'm home, man. I can do what I want. There's lots of great games out.
But you got to. That's it. That's it for this week. Matt, do you want to do your bit?
Yeah, so Twitch, James and I are streaming Portal 2 on Thursday night at 9. Dave, are you streaming more Shenmue 2 possibly this week?
I will. I'll just decide when I do it.
Yeah, he'll do it as and when, so look out for that. But yeah, just search us on Twitch or go to twitch.tv/The Computer Game Show. If you've got a Twitch Prime account or an Amazon Prime account, you get 1 free sub a month. Please consider dropping that sub on us. We hit 1,000 subscriptions on YouTube, everyone. Yay! I didn't tweet about it because every time I've done that recently, over the last 2 weeks where we've been like 5 or 10 away, I'll tweet about it, then I'll refresh YouTube and suddenly we're 40 away and I delete the tweet out of embarrassment. Even on the stream we did last Thursday when we got over 1,000, I was like, I won't tweet about it. And in the morning, I said to James, look, it's 9999. So anyway, I haven't tweeted about it, but we've done it, and I'm quite happy that we've done that. And also the podcast is available on every service known to man. That's about it. Why not tell a friend?
Well, is that it? There was a big announcement this week that you're
we're doing a live show next April. We're doing Rezzed 2019. Me, Sean, and James, maybe a special guest.
Is it me? Am I the special guest?
Well, I said maybe Tamoor.
Let's fucking
go to a live show. Yeah, so tickets are on sale now. Just go to egx.net/rezzed. You just need regular day tickets. We're doing the show on Saturday, the 6th of April. Sometime at times it could be sort of sorted out close to the time, but yeah, Saturday, 6th of April. Get your tickets.
I loved the few tweets that come in that said, "Before I order my ticket, can you let me know if David's going to be there?" Yeah,
and yeah, we've got early negotiations started, so we'll see what happens with that. But
I'll be there. You think I'd let these guys go in front of an audience without me? Fuck that. That's my stage.
Dave will be there as the guest. But yeah, Dave will be there. We're doing a live show. Get your tickets. It was a lot of fun last year, and Rez is a great event to be at.
It is. It's a great show to go to, so it's well worth getting your tickets for that. Tamoor, thank you so much for coming on. It's been brilliant. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you for taking your time out and hanging out with us. GameSpot, are they shitting it yet about what we're doing over here?
No, a little bit. There's like a picture of you up. Just says, "Watch this man."
Warning. He's absolutely on fire at the moment. But don't worry, 2019 will be a quiet year. When I announced that I was leaving because I'm having another kid, I bet there's a big sigh of relief in that office. I'll be back, GameSpot. Thanks for living it. We'll be catching you next week, hopefully with Sean, if you're feeling better. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I will say the HDR when you're in a town at night is fucking tremendous.